everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Project Morana. We were all jamming to the music, and we realized you all were watching a real creepy intro trailer, which is not chill. Obviously, fair warning, we are going to be doing some, creepy stuff potentially, so if at any point you feel uncomfortable, feel free to leave, we understand. But of course, before we get into all of that jazz, we do want to go through a couple little things. First and foremost, we want to thank our sponsor today. Thank you, Roll4It, for sponsoring us. If you're curious how we're doing our rolls, it is very helpful because, especially with Call of Cthulhu, because you have to do whether you're rolling hard, regular, extreme, and then it does all this stuff and it just automatically does it. I like that. Makes it easy for me.
I don't think I know how to play Call of Cthulhu, so thank you, Roll4It.
All you have to do is hit button. And of course, we do have merch. You can head on over to designbyhumans.com/shop/Roll4It and get yourself a snazzy sweater for the fall. I'm already ready for autumn. I know some people are like, stop, it's still summer. And I'm like, no. Bring on the pumpkin spice. I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we would like to thank our supporter today, Jackson Decay. Thank you so much for supporting us. And if you would like to become a supporter like Jackson, if you want to toss some roll love in chat for us, you can become a legend tier above. And if you are a legend tier above, you get to play in a privately GM'd game. Right now, Kelly is GMing for them. And it has been exciting. It seemed like they had a lot of fun last time. I'm curious what they'll be playing next. And of course, there's a bunch of other stuff on our Patreon. So like our character sheets and stuff like that, and things from like a million years ago. So there's thousands and thousands of things. Go check them out. And of course, you can become a Twitch sub right here. If you have Amazon Prime and you're not using it, instead of giving Jeff Bezos the money, you can give us the money. Yeah. And of course, if you're watching, yeah, right. And of course, you can become a YouTube member. And if you're a YouTube member, you get access to some of the emotes that we have over on Twitch as well. And whether a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or a Patreon supporter, you can get access to a private Discord where there were lots of discussions. And Papa Tim has been sending rolls and stuff, which has been interesting to see because this game is very different. But we understand not everyone can support us in monetary ways, and that's okay. Take care of you and yours first and foremost. But there's lots of free ways to support us, like watching us here live on Twitch, making clips while we're live, because apparently that's the only time you can do that. So you see a spooky moment, you see a funny moment, you see a moment you just want to encase in time forever, clip it. And your clip might be spotlighted on our social channel. And of course, you can watch us over on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment over there, and head on over to Twitter and Facebook, like, share, retweet, comment, all the little things. Even if you don't have a ton of followers, those things matter a lot. The algorithms go whir and people find us, and we get to tell more lovely stories because people see them. And with that, that's all I have to say. You're sick of hearing me talk. You might have noticed my name is changing down here. You're gonna find out why. So Kelly, take it away.
Yes. So the date is Monday, August 22nd, 1994. The time is 4:30 p.m. Laura, your day started early. Your mother, Donna, drove you to Seattle, put you on a bus with some money for food and the luggage that you brought, and unceremoniously sent you off to Vancouver. Luckily, the Greyhound strikes that I recently learned about were over at that point, so she didn't have to drive you all the way north herself. Once you got to the main bus terminal in Vancouver, you were on your own. You knew there were two options to get to campus. You could either take transit. There is a bus that leads all the way to the core of UBC. But you also have a lot of luggage. because you brought your computer and your music and all your clothes and other things you would need. It's up to you if you wish to have braved the bus line with all of your stuff all the way to UBC, or use some of that food money for a taxi.
My mom told me to take the bus, so I'm taking the bus.
All right. Go ahead and give me a navigate roll.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Early
That's a quick
on.
roll. Episode
Okay.
1, we didn't roll for a whole hour.
Okay.
I kept that in mind. I was like, we're going to do this early and possibly often. We'll see.
What? I got a 9 versus 10 success.
Nice. Now I'm going to...
Holy cow.
I know.
That is like right on the cusp.
And like such a small window of opportunity. What are the odds? Well,
I mean,
this is a fun opportunity to promote our city, which Vancouver actually has a pretty good transit system. So given that you are from a small town, you expected things to be more complicated, having to cross, and you've seen in TV shows and movies like New York subways, you get on the L, you get off here, get on here, but don't go this direction. And so you had in your mind that you should pre-prepare for anything that would come up. But luckily, it's, especially to such a prominent location as UBC, basically you get on a bus. And a few of the passengers that try to get on as they bump around your luggage and boxes give you some side eye. But after noticing your age and which bus you're on, you sort of get a bit more leeway and a bit of pity more than disdain.
I'd probably be apologizing a lot. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Like, just as, you know, if people give me the side eye, I'm definitely acknowledging it by apologizing.
And you quickly feel like you're fitting in as a lot of people bump into your luggage and apologize to you for stepping into your luggage and not looking where they're going. Regardless, as you get further away from the downtown core of Vancouver and more into the suburban areas, people start to filter off, and the bus slowly becomes a bit more empty. The sun starts to hit that golden hour where it's not quite the middle of the day and it's not quite night yet. It's just really nice and warm as you come into UBC proper. You pass through a small forest. Tall coniferous trees flank you on both sides, and the fresh air reminds you of home. Slowly, the campus reveals itself. You pass a large football field on your right, the trees to your left still creating a wall. There's a large apartment-like building off in the distance, and you begin to see what looks like a small town constructed on this flat piece of nature. Mixed in with the various buildings and common areas are subtle hints of indigenous iconography, statues, and architecture. Less subtly are the numerous cranes and skeletal foundations of new buildings being built that, even to this day, have never ceased. But despite all that, the area does appear to be quite lovely, and you see the mountains are ever present off in the north horizon. Eventually, you make your way to your stop, and the bus driver turns off the vehicle and the light and sort of gestures to you that you can take your time as they leave the door open and go on their break. You sit in a small loop surrounded by some of the larger administration buildings, but are mostly alone. The campus looks spotted with individuals here and there, but given that it is about 8 or 9 days before the actual beginning of the courses, people haven't started to move in. You sit on the curb with all of your stuff. What do you do?
Do I know where I
Also,
need to go?
Real quick,
Okay.
now that we see you, can you please describe yourself in 1994?
In 1994, Laura has the typical flannel on. You know, grunge is big right now, so she just fell right into that cozy style. And she's got a bright red flannel on. She's got a beanie on, and is always wearing her CD player and her CD player headphones around her neck. She's got the grunge-esque makeup because it's a form that she feels comfortable in. She looks like the same Laura, but just with the baby fat still in her cheeks and just maybe a little more light in her eyes. And there's just a way about her that seems unsure. So very uneasy, but also trying to seem confident and like she knows what she's doing. So as she's waiting here on the side with her luggage, in her brain, it's moving like a million miles a minute of, okay, how do I get this to where I need to go? What do I need to do? Where do I go? I hope nobody's looking at me. But outside it doesn't seem like that, just kind of stacking things in a way that's like, I know what I'm doing. But she takes her CD player out and it's just like, I need to just focus on some music. So probably takes out a Jock Jam CD that she had in there and just to get her pumped up to get to the campus. And then probably puts Dookie in by Green Day because it just came out and starts listening to like Basket Case and just starts to get a lay of the land and realize she needs to figure out where she needs to go.
So as you listen to your music, people sort of like give you, not the side eye, but they almost like regard you, and you don't seem like a uncommon occurrence standing here. And as that panic almost like settles in, you realize that, or you remember rather, that a small like first day package was sent to your house, something that neither of your parents remembered to give to you, but you did eventually find it a few days before leaving.
I think as I listen to the music, I have the epiphany of like, oh yeah, I stuck this in this one box that I have. And so I just open up that box unceremoniously and start like rifling through it to find the packet.
A few clothes fall to the ground. And you find you had pre-registered for a dorm, luckily. And you had been assigned a room. You are in the Totem Park residence. And as you sort of flip through the pamphlet, their slogan is, Totem Park is for students new to UBC who want space and time for studying, the comforts of home and a relaxed communal atmosphere, perfect for making new friends. Students will always have someone to walk to class with, talk to, or have dinner with, all within a fun, safe, and supportive environment. And you realize you're about 10 minutes away from Totem Park residence.
How much stuff do I have?
So me, Kelly, read your bio, and you did reference that you have a computer. So for those of you who don't remember,
Wow.
in 1994, a computer was those deep CRT TVs, and
It weighs like
the
80
best
pounds.
Yeah, the best you could hope for is one of those like flat towers that is maybe like a square and about half a foot tall for your floppies and your various other accoutrements. A real chunky keyboard and a mouse, and hopefully a spool of Ethernet cable, given that those wouldn't be provided to you.
Probably has
but other than
speakers
that-
too, because she likes music.
So other than that, it's up to you what else you brought. I sort of just threw out some common things.
Well, if I brought all my music, it'd be all my jewel cases. So there's probably like 100 CDs at least. And then obviously just clothing, probably a couple of duffel bags of clothing and sheets and all of that, posters. So probably just kind of a mishmash of things, but a lot of stuff that's more than I could probably carry, especially if there's a computer from 1994. So I weigh my options. There's no carts around me. If I look around, survey the area, there's like nothing that I can put my stuff on, wheel it.
There's no, the bus loop is sort of a like isolated area. It seems like it doesn't represent like a college dorm as much as it is like, it almost looks like a city bus loop. So there's like benches to sit with a cover. There's the buildings off in the distance, and there's just the one bus that you took in here that nobody is here for.
Is there a payphone?
There would, yes.
I mean, I gotta call someone. I gotta get a taxi. At least, I didn't pay for a taxi to this point, but I need to pay for a taxi to get to the apartment.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and have you roll a luck, which to me feels like the most representative of is there a taxi in your area the dispatcher can send to you.
Okay. So luck on here is.
It's one of your attributes near the top.
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh, and you already spend the coin to like call.
I drop a quarter. What is it? 50 cents back then? Like I put 50 cents in to make a call.
Sounds about right.
8 versus 50. Extreme success.
What the heck? Wow.
You put
are-
50 luck. Nice.
I did put a lot in luck.
You're gonna need it.
Oh,
As you just hope, because UBC, for those unfamiliar, is basically a peninsula, or an archipelago, one of those ones where water's on all three sides.
Peninsula.
Peninsula, thank you.
Right?
I was right the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. An archipelago is a series of islands.
And
Yeah.
Taxis rarely go out there unless they are delivering somebody out there. And lucky enough for you, a very lovely sounding dispatcher reassures you, hearing the sort of panic in your voice, that a taxi had just recently dropped somebody off. And it was a handicap taxi, which works out even more because there will be space for you in the back.
Okay.
And only moments later does a large yellow taxi show up and offers to help load in all of your boxes and whatnot.
I'm trying to be as least of a bother as possible and try to put as much in the back as I can so that the person doesn't have to.
They take notice. Are you your first day here? You from out of town?
I thought the dorms would be closer. I don't know. I got here on the bus and then I'm just glad you were here.
You didn't have folks or anything to?
Oh,
help
no,
you out?
my mom drove me to Seattle and then I took the Greyhound.
All right.
But I did. Do you know how to get to the Totem Park units?
Yeah, I got you. Hop in. Kind of like waves you in.
Do I get into the front or the back seat? Like, did I fill up the back seat?
The back seat's available. It's up to you if you sit in the front or back, because me, Kelly, always wonders that. What's the etiquette in the situation?
Young Laura hasn't been in many taxis. She sits in the front.
The driver kind of sits in next to you, and he's an older man, a bit scruffy. You can see that he's probably been driving either all day or probably the night before as well. A little bit of BO, but nothing too offensive. But you also notice that hanging in the mirror, the blind that's currently folded up, is a picture of him and a young girl sort of clipped to it. And as he drives away, he doesn't turn on the thing that checks how long you've been riding to charge you.
The meter.
And about a minute passes as he pulls up in front of the Totem Park residence and helps you unload, and sort of like smiles at you that you suspect a father would smile at their daughter as they head off to university.
I think as we're riding, I don't say anything, just nervously taking in everything, looking at the picture, like wringing my hands. So then when we get there, I silently get out and help unload. I'm reaching for my wallet though to just pay, because I know that you're supposed to pay taxis.
He doesn't tell you a price or anything. He just starts helping you unload.
How much was it?
I can't charge this late. I'm technically off shift.
Oh, but like you help me with the stuff, and then also, I mean, just in general, like this is your job. I gotta pay you, right?
It's a union thing. I would get in trouble if I charged you.
tips. I've seen tips, and then I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna like. I don't. How much? Do I know how much my mom got me or gave me?
She gave you about like $30 for food.
Okay. I think I'm counting it. And I take out $3 and hand it to him.
He looks down at you and sort of like pushes your hand back. He says, in case you need to call another cab.
All right. Thank you. You didn't need to do that. I appreciate the ride. It was a lot easier than walking.
Well, now you got to get upstairs, so I'm not helping with that.
That's fair. I could use the exercise. Thank you.
Have a good night. He gets in the car and drives away.
Is there anyone around?
You stand in front of Totem Park Residency. It is a 6-story L-shaped building with brick exterior walls and covered entrances. There's a small brick wall that surrounds the entire building with a large gate as an entrance, and a dried out lawn sort of sprawls out towards the street where you're standing. It is so named Totem Park Residency due to its proximity to Totem Park. So you sort of see a nice park off in the distance. There are also 4 main buildings with indigenous names. There is the Nootka House and the Dene House, which are the women's facilities. And there is the Haida House and the Salish House, which are the men's facilities, sort of further off, far away from this building to, keep everyone separated and pure. Again, it seems like the campus has mostly not been filled up yet, and you sort of stand in front of this building as the sun sort of loses that golden hour time.
I'm just gonna grab what I can. I know I'm gonna have to make multiple trips, and sling one of the duffel bags over my shoulder and make my way to one of the doors. Do I know in the packet I got which dorm I'm in?
Yes, you are in the Dene house, and your room is 207, so you know that you will have to go up a floor.
Okay. Are there labels like which building does it say? Hopefully Dene in front of me.
Yes. So
okay.
Each of the 4 houses are connected to their gendered buildings. So the Dene and the Nootka house are sort of connected while still being not attached, but you are in front of the Dene one.
Okay. I'm just gonna start. I'm imagining this is not like it was when I went to college, where there's like key cards and residency people at desks, any of that.
Do you want to check your flyer?
Yeah, I guess I'm looking for any help I can get. So I want to see if like I need to check in with somebody before going to my room.
So your packet came with information about which room and building you're staying in. They suggest checking in with the front desk to make sure that your room is empty. The front desk is in an entirely different building, which is the common building between the 2 sets of buildings, a bit inwards towards the lawn. And as you realize this, you realize that most of the steps that you will have to take are in various locations and not one place.
I think the day has been exhausting. I have a computer, which I do know there's a value to. I'm going to take a chance and bring stuff up to my room and then go talk to the front desk when I'm done bringing everything to the room.
All right. As you carry your computer through the doors, the interior is nothing to phone home about. It's got white walls and is relatively cramped, probably to make more space for the dorms, as however big they are. The ceilings are pretty low, and it mostly seems like utilitarian than anything else. There is, luckily, an elevator.
Jackpot. I'm gonna when I see the elevator, I'm like, I'm bringing everything in. I'm gonna set it right next to the elevator. And so then it becomes get it off the curb, get it into at least the lobby area.
Nice. By the time you're done this, you can see that sort of twilight color in the air as the sun is hinting that it's going to be setting soon. But you managed to drag everything in front of the elevator. Are you going to try to do the thing where you hold the door open and just pull everything in at once?
Yes, but I also know I'm not going to be able to pull it all out. So I'm going to try to like Tetris it a little bit to make it like maybe put the biggest thing on the bottom and maybe I can like pull with each arm 2 different stacks to get it out of the elevator.
You eventually doing that, like the holding the door open, it continuously tries to like close on you, and it's that real chunky like brown and metal door that like feels like it's trying to saw you in half. And enough time passes that you hear like a bell start to go off after holding the door open for long enough. You see down the hallway someone sort of poke their head out of one of the doors and like squint and then go back inside. But
I try to wave at just like nothing to see here.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But you get everything on the elevator and go up to the second floor, and once again struggling with the contraption to try to get everything out at once. There is a fire map that shows all of the rooms on the floor, so you can easily find 207 and head on over there.
If I can get it all out of the elevator, I'm just gonna take as much as I can, leave what I need, and then just make multiple trips. Before I do that, I want to look at my packet and see if I have a roommate.
It's a single room.
Oh, I think I breathe a sigh of relief, like, okay, I forgot about that. Just because the anxiety of thinking about having to interact with a brand new human after the day that she just had kind of takes a huge sigh of relief and then just starts making her way to 207.
As you approach, you hear a sound. At first, it almost sounds like laughing or crying, perhaps, but this sinking feeling comes in when you stand in front of 207 and you hear what sounds like someone in the throes of passion coming from inside.
I'm gonna stand there. I got a duffel bag slung over my shoulder. I got the tower to my computer, probably a keyboard tucked under my arm. And I have like the pamphlet on top of the computer tower. So I'm like trying to read it, like making sure it's like a single occupancy. And I'm checking the door number. And I'm just looking up and down. Can I listen? I'm gonna put the tower down. I'm gonna put my ear to the door.
All right. Sure enough, it sounds like they're probably in the middle of it right now.
I do this thing where it's like, do I go to the front desk? Maybe this isn't the right room. No, this is the right room. I've already come all this way. It's been a giant pain in the ass. I'm gonna knock on the door.
The second that you knock, it immediately stops. And you hear, who the fuck is that? I don't know. Go check it. You go check it. I don't have pants on.
Do I have a key?
You do.
I think just I'd knock and I'm like, maybe it's coming from another room. I'm gonna start to unlock the door and just like crack it open a little bit.
As soon as you do, you hear fuck, and the door slams closed. Who occupied?
This is my room. This is 207, right?
Babe, is this 207? Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, I'm looking at my pamphlet and it says Laura Flowers, room 207.
Laura, babe, you gotta deal with this. And you hear someone stomp away, and then moments later, the door opens just a crack, and you can see matted hair covering an eye that just peeks out. Do you say your name was Laura?
Yeah, this is a single occupancy room, right?
Yeah,
like this is.
I know, because it's my single occupancy room.
Who are you? I'm Laura. Look here. And I get the pamphlet I'm trying to show. It says 207 Laura Flowers. Am I in the wrong spot?
My name's also Laura. Laura F.
Wait,
I'm pretty sure I think this is my room.
Okay, can I leave some of my stuff here and I'm gonna go talk to the front desk?
Sure. How long do you think you're gonna take?
I won't bother you. And I just turn around and I start walking towards wherever the middle of this complex is with my pamphlet in hand.
And as you do, we see as all of your stuff is piled in front of this door, two heads sort of poke out watching you leave and like looking at your stuff and immediately go back inside. You walk across the field that leads to the Common Works room, and just as you're about to open the door, you see hour of operations. It is, the front desk is operated until 5 p.m., which unfortunately it is well past at this point.
What time is it?
The time is 6:01. You do see a number to call the admin office during off hours.
Is there a phone anywhere that I can scan?
You can see payphones inside.
Kind of like
Common Works areas. Oh, the Common Works building is always open.
Okay, so kind of just like Charlie Brown dejected, walking over to a payphone, like, all right, we got to figure this out. And so I'm going to take some quarters out and try to call the number on the phone. Or on the sheet on the phone.
The time is 8:02. You've been back and forth, sent to different departments, calling through the phone system. And you're told that a mix-up indeed did happen, and that the room 207 was given to a different Laura F. But they will assure you that they will find you another room, but it won't be available until tomorrow.
So am I talking to someone still? Like, are they just delivering me this news?
A very apologetic sounding woman over the phone is delivering you this news.
So, like, where am I supposed to stay tonight?
We suggest that there are couches in the Common Works area if you wish to sleep there. If you had friends on campus that you could perhaps spend the night with. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I wish I could do something more.
Well, did you send a letter or, like, try to call? They, like, let us know?
We did, but it seems that the admin office mixed up and sent your room, or Laura F's room, to you, and then Laura F came to the front desk. We really advise you to come to the front desk when you show up to campus to ensure that nothing has gone wrong.
Yeah, I had thought I had a room. Yeah, okay, can you put me in, like, a hotel overnight or something?
Unfortunately, we can't offer that. But again, the Common Works do have couches that you are welcome to spend the night on. The food services should be available in the morning. And we will, I will have the front desk person let you know what room you've been reassigned to.
I'm getting a single occupancy, right?
I will do my best.
Okay, okay. Okay, how do I reach you?
There will be someone at the front desk in the morning. Just make sure to coordinate with them.
Okay, thank you for your help.
If you have any other needs, make sure to, or feel free to call. I'll do anything within my power.
Is there a way, like, do you guys have carts that I can use?
You should be able to find carts in the Common Works area.
Okay. All right, thank you. I hang up, immediately look for carts.
And a frustrating and long night waits ahead of you.
I find the couch with the most privacy, with my cart next to me, and I'm using a sheet that I pulled out of my box as well as a jacket for a pillow.
And you spend your first night alone at UBC. Welcome.
I love it here.
The date is Tuesday, August 23rd. Also, I think I got, no, yeah, Monday, okay. The date is Tuesday, August 23rd, 1994. The time is 12:30 p.m. Naftali Freeman. Tell me about how you got into UBC.
Okay. So Nate has been playing hockey pretty much since shortly after he could walk. I think he went ice skating once with his family and took to it like a fish takes to water. And as much as he moves with surprising quickness and spryness for a person his size when just walking on the ice, he looks like he's at home. And so through his entire youth, he played on every hockey team he could, and he was consistently the biggest kid on virtually every team. And so not only was he an extremely skilled skater, he was also just an absolute bruiser. And all of that led to him eventually trying out for and receiving a scholarship to UBC to play on the Thunderbirds, to play left defense. They came and scouted him. He had to go through like a whole basically tryout process, doing different drills, playing practice games, etc. And yeah, they gave him a full-on scholarship to be able to come to the school. He is essentially a highly scouted prospect. And so that is how he is here. He is a student athlete, but he is very much an athlete before he is a student. It is not close.
Nice. Well, as you know, the open tryouts are tomorrow, August 24th, for the people who didn't get scholarships and weren't as heavily scouted as you are. And the Thunderbird seniors actually asked to meet with the first years that are coming in through the scholarship to meet early and sort of like talk it over and figure out what's going to be happening during the tryouts. It's sort of an unofficial meet and greet before you all show up for tryouts, because the existing players will face basically the tryout people and call the ones that won't make it on. So you have shown up during the afternoon to do that. As well, you have not gone to your dorm yet, and while you are here, you figure you might as well figure out where you are staying. You as well are located in the Totem Park residence in the Salish House, which is the men's building, or one of the men's buildings. And it is good because it's actually much closer to the Winter Sports Center than the other residency. And so, how
Coach
do you
pulled some strings?
how do you get around? Do you have a vehicle at this age?
I don't think I came from a very rich family, and so I think I would either take public transportation, or if it's within feasible walking distance, I need the cardio, you know.
And
Gotta stay trim.
Are you a Vancouver resident?
I don't think that I'm originally from here. No, I think I'm from a smaller area originally. Okay. Yeah.
And follow-up question. Do you have any friends or family members that would have maybe showed up a bit earlier to help you bring stuff in and sort of load up your dorm?
I think they wanted to, and I think I was like, no, Mom. No, I can do it myself. Stay home. I'm a man now. Stop it. And so I was basically, I think maybe they dropped me off in the family car with my stuff, and then I just lugged it away with just piles of things, and most of which I didn't even pack. I'm just carrying around. In part, I'm deliberately walking around just to get a little bit more exercise. Like when nobody's looking, I start doing little squats every once in a while, still holding all my stuff. And I'm just generally chilling. Yeah, I'm heading towards the dorm at this point.
Yeah, you have no trouble. Your parents packed you with like one of those like well-loved but larger like hiking backpacks that they've sort of loaded with your like clothes and stuff, and you've got your sort of like hockey bag that you've brought other things because your equipment will be provided for you, so you managed to put most of that stuff in. So your trip to the dorms is much easier than Laura's was, and you find your room, no problem. You are in 306 in the Salish house. And you head out sort of to the common grounds where you've been told that the rest of the team will gather. It's about 1:15 p.m. at this point, and you're just sort of hanging out. Did you want to? You're supposed to meet about like 1:30. Is there anything that you want to check out while you're in the area?
I think I would like to, like, as I go to the meeting area, I'd like to kind of see if there are any other people, because I don't want to be the first one to show up for this. So I want to like sort of do a sort of like a drive-by situation where I'm like just like walking by, sort of looking to see like, is there anybody here yet? And once it looks like other hockey players have shown up, because I don't think I know most of the people on the team. I think once it's like, oh, okay, good. Then I'm just gonna be like. Then I'm just gonna rock up and be like, probably flex the shoulders a little bit and sort of stretch out the lats, not the lats, but the traps rather, to try and be a little bit like, yeah, and just sort of walk up and be like, "This is where the hockey team's meeting."
So as Nate runs through all of this social interaction in his head over and over, go ahead and roll me a stealth, because I'm assuming that Nate is not the most inconspicuous person to just be like scanning back and forth, walking past the meeting spot.
He's surprisingly nimble, but he is large. Let's see.
Oh my God, these rolls. These rolls are
6
ridiculous.
out of 20. That's
6
crazy.
versus 20, baby. Yes.
There are double digits, you know, like higher. Miraculously, you did say you are relatively nimble for your size. You managed to do like the most casual, like, oh yeah, just exploring the campus for a while. About 3 or 4 passes, just looking as casual as you possibly can be. Maybe taking on some different like postures to look like you're a different person each time, turning your hat around once or twice. And nobody seems to take notice. You even notice that like some people pass you and you're so stealthy that they don't pay any mind to you.
Predator.
The time is 1:45 p.m. and none of the team has shown up yet.
I sort of like, you said 1:45?
Yeah.
So I'm a full 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
I think
Or
at that point I'm like, well, that's the thing. I think I'm gonna look around and be like, bunch of idiots, all showed up late. Cool. I'm gonna go hang out in my dorm and come back in like 20 minutes. Well, I'm still not gonna be the first guy, so I'm gonna go back to my room and then to just chill for like the next 20 minutes and then go back.
As you look around, you do notice there's sort of like the residency parking area, the paid parking area, which has a few like cars here and there, and you hear just the like rattliest motor come in. The exhaust must, like, from your hearing, the exhaust must just be like wrecked. And you see a old Dodge, red with sort of a blue stripe along the side truck, roll up to the parking spot. And almost losing yourself for a moment, you see someone step out. They are a taller, but more not filled out, but their body looks proportionally right for someone this tall. They're a bit wiry. They have shoulder-length, wavy blonde hair, loosely gathered on the back, and a long strand sort of hangs down in front of their face that, as he gets out of the truck, he sort of like blows it away, and it just sort of flaps back a bit. He's wearing a shirt with some strange person on the front that, at first glance, you don't recognize. If you wish to dig back into your thoughts, I could have you have a roll if you're intrigued.
Yeah, if I think this dude's on the team, I want to try and impress him. So I would I'd like to roll to figure out who this character is.
Go ahead and I gotta look for like a
Anthropology.
Yeah, sure. Anthropology would be good.
I have a 1. Anthropology. All right, here we go. And it's a 16 versus 1.
There's your double digits.
1.
Kelly.
Oh God.
You don't. I feel like anthropology probably has a higher default, but I don't think that would succeed. But regardless, it sort of looks like a person wearing like a white suit. They have like ears that sort of like droop down in a triangle, and they have like weird orange hair, and it just catches you off guard, and you're not too sure what it could be. But it's a normal looking t-shirt regardless. The person's wearing jeans, red plaid tied around their waist. And as he gets out, he carries himself almost like more confidently than you would expect someone this young to look. His face, the cheeks almost are perpetually pushing up into his eyes, even though he's not smiling. And he confidently like shuts the door and goes behind the truck, which you can now see has a bunch of boxes and stuff stacked in the back. He is quite attractive.
He's going to get stuff, and he's okay. I think I'm looking at this dude, and I'm like, all right, yeah, real tall, handsome, cool. Must be a hockey player. I'm gonna go out and just sort of walk over, again trying to look as big as possible, which I didn't really describe him. Essentially, if Nate in 2023 looks like he's kind of let himself go, this is him at the absolute peak of his powers. He is built like a house, absolutely huge. Every limb is uncomfortably thick. Very muscular, just a really burly guy. He has hair on, no hair on the sides, shaved, sort of a bald fade on the sides, and then a little bit of curly black hair up top. And he absolutely double flannels all the time. And he is going to walk over to this dude, just sort of swagger over and be like, hey, you on the team?
As you say that, you realize that you've caught him off guard, and he was holding a pretty big box that was up high. And as he looks over, he sort of slips, and the box begins to like go off tilter, and it looks like he's about to drop it.
This is my moment. I'm gonna impress this dude. I'm going to, quick as a cat, try and dive around behind him and catch it with one hand.
Give me a strength roll then.
All right.
I will also remind all you people that are succeeding at rolls that if I have you roll a skill and you succeed, make sure to click the reminder that you have succeeded, because in the future you might get better at it.
Yes. 73 versus 76. A very close success.
Confidently, you sneak up behind this man, and with one hand out, you catch it, and he sort of like stumbles back into you, and like presses up against you for a moment as both of you sort of push the box forward back into the truck. And he turns around and looks up at you and smiles, and he smiles in such a way that the cheeks that are already pushing his eyes closed push them even further, to the point that he's basically like his eyes almost look closed as he smiles at you, and he says, "Whoa, bud, I got real close to beefing it there. Thanks so much." Kind of like looks at the box and he says, Yeah, I would have been out a computer if that fell on the ground.
Whoa, this is a computer. Oh, I think Nate initially had like a very like, yeah, sort of face when he caught it. And then when the dude stumbled into him and he's like, yeah, something deep within him went, yeah, our bodies are touching. And then like he turned around and smiled. And I think there's like, it's not even like a conscious thing. It's like, ugh. And Nate's face just kind of goes from like, to like, and he's like, oh man, you have a computer. Wow, that's cool. Sorry. And just takes it and holds it like a baby. Like just takes the computer, holds it like a baby.
My parents bought it for me. They thought I would need it in university, I guess.
Oh, do you, wow, yeah. University, do you need help?
Kind of like looks back and you see this like mountain of boxes and bags and stuff like that. And he sort of like thinks for a moment and looks back to you and he says, I didn't think I did, but now that you're here to help, I could definitely use it, bud. My name's Benjamin, by the way. And he puts out a hand.
I put the computer under one arm and grab his hand. I'm like, Nate.
Nate, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Well, we should get this up then. You look like you got somewhere else to be.
Oh yeah. So yeah, are you on the team? You're on the team? The hockey team?
No.
Oh
no.
I was because you're like a pretty big guy and pretty, with the.
I don't big. Kind of like he's like looking up at you, even though he is like tall. You are still taller than him, and he says, "That's quite the compliment there, bud." No, I'm not much of a sport guy. I'm a painter, and as you see him now, you can see that the flannel around his waist indeed has like splotches on them. His hands, despite his age being relatively young, are a bit like cracked and dry. And he.
I think there's two things that come painting. He hears painting, and Nate's like looking through the Rolodex, like painting, Monet.
Yeah.
And then I see his hands, and I'm like, oh no, bro, you can't be. And I set the computer down. You can't be walking around with ashy hands like that. You can't be. And I reach in and I pull out some lotion, and I'm like, here, I got you. And like, hold out your hand.
All right.
And I put in a gob. I put in like a large glob of lotion, and I'm like, see, I get dry skin. You got to use the heavy duty stuff, when you're out there, thinking for like another painter. He's like, when you're out there, Donatelloing it up, that's he does machines.
He like rubs his hands more together and he says, well, yeah, I probably wouldn't want dry hands in the sewer learning martial arts from a giant rat and have cracked hands where, sewer's going to seep in or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should get her then, eh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm just going to turn and sort of try to athletically jog off.
He seems impressed. He also seems incredibly relieved that he has help. And as you get to the door and eventually realize that him not being in the lead, you don't know which room he is, you turn and see that he's coming up with a much smaller box and sort of pushes the door open for you. And you both take the elevator up to the third floor.
Can I have grabbed a larger number of boxes in addition? Because he has a bunch of boxes.
Yes.
Can I have just started stacking them?
You're full trying to get all the groceries into the house in one go. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. I would have expected that for sure. And it seems as if you're going to your dorm room until he stops basically in front of your door and turns in the opposite direction, and you see that he is in 307. Right across the hallway from you, and says, well, this is me. Let me just get the key 1 sec. I went to the front desk to get it. And sort of, he takes his box and puts it on top of your boxes, and then like reaches into his pocket and pulls out a key.
Is there a role that I can try and do to decide whether or not I do something really stupid?
I never like dictating. Well, I will never dictate that you roll to do something stupid. I will leave it up to you to either secretly roll on your side or roll and tell me that you were deciding to do something stupid, or just do something stupid. It's always.
Would it just be? Would it be will or wait, not will? Sanity? Would it be sanity?
Power.
Nate
would probably
is
be
possessed of a desire to impress this dude by kicking open the door. Because he's guys fumbling for the keys. There's like a weird thing like kick open the door, it'll be cool.
I'll say power because you're trying to resist external influences.
Right.
Which is peer pressure.
Nate, that's a 94 versus 40. Nate is going to be like, wait, stand back. Then be like, watch this. And then still holding the boxes, sort of lean back and then attempt to kick this man's door open.
You didn't realize that he had already put the key in, turned it, and was just opening the door. So as you kick it, the door swings open, slams hard into the wall. You tumble forward onto the boxes and basically cartwheel your way into the middle of his room. And a moment of silence where not a word nor sound is spoken until you hear him start laughing.
Is it like I think there's a moment of like, oh no. I look up to him and I'm like, sorry. Did I break anything? Sorry. And I want to start looking at the boxes, see if they're okay.
He's like, you get that almost like laughing, because it was funny, but also like too much time passed and he started laughing to fill the awkward moment. And as you sort of like fumble around, you find one of the boxes was ceramics, and a few of his like pottery pieces have shattered on the inside of the box. The computer, being made of solid brick, did not break, but a few of his art pieces broke.
Oh, dude, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Can I?
You didn't break the computer, did you? Because if I gotta explain to my parents that.
No. Some of your pots broke. I am so sorry. They're the china. You have china pots?
No, it's clay. But he kind of like thinks, and you see like disappointment in his face. But I mean, I don't remember what it's called, but there was a Japanese or Chinese thing about like gluing broken pots back together, and it looks cooler or is stronger or something.
Yeah,
probably do that.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, I get you. That's like when we working out. I don't know if you work. You look like you work out. Yeah, I don't know if you work out though. But
again, I don't. But thank you.
Yeah, genetics. When you work out, it's like you're tearing the muscle down a little bit, but then it heals back, and then it's bigger and better. That's like what you put these pots together again.
Like scar tissue.
Well, like muscles, dude. And I flex.
When like mankind like cuts his forehead and then like he's got the scar tissues on his.
No, like you build the muscles, like you break the muscles down and they build back bigger. Look, and I flex my arm, trying to see through the double layer of flannel, if I could sort of make a point.
I mean, that sounds awful, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's metal. But what I'm saying is like, you're going to make the pots again, and that'll be really cool. And sorry, I am right across the hall. I don't know how to make pots, but if you want, I'm on the hockey team. If you like hockey, I could probably get you in to a game.
Okay. For a sec, I thought you were going to tell me that you could get me on the team, and I would not advise that. But I could come watch.
Yeah, like free tickets to a game.
All right. I don't claim to know if they cost money to go see the university team play, but for sure, that sounds good.
I don't know either, but I figure, maybe.
Do you want to go get the rest of the boxes? Maybe a little less at a time.
Yeah. Just wait here. Make sure everything's okay. I'm just gonna speed through this. The practice of tryouts have been completely forgotten. I'm like trying to figure out like a new way of like, okay, what's another route? Well, I'm gonna talk to this dude. I'm like, shirt. And I get back up, set the rest of the boxes down, and I'm like, so, pretty cool shirt.
As you enter, like after a couple trips, you can see that he started to like unpack, and he's like hanging some of his like, he's got like those small square paintings on canvas, starts putting them up. He's like taken the computer out of the box, and it's still got like the styrofoam around it, and he hasn't bothered to like plug it in or anything yet. And you kind of catch him off guard, and he looks down and he says, "Oh, yeah, it's thanks. I made it myself. Well, not the design. I stole the there's like printing press things for shirts, and I took the design of this. It's have you ever heard of Cream Master?
Yeah, I love Cream Master.
Cream well, there's a movie called Cream Master 4.
Yeah, I mean, 4's okay. I thought 2 was the best.
It's the only one out. It's like Star Wars, I think. But regardless, it's about sort of
Oh, Cream Master. Yeah, duh, sorry. Yeah. No, I get you.
It's about
sorry.
It's about testicles. It's an awful movie. I've seen it like 6 times, and it just keeps getting worse. But thought he made a point the
like
first time, and then once I figured out what his point was, after a while, I hated it.
Is this like a porn? It's like a porno you're talking about? Is this like Deep Throat?
He sits and it's art. No. I was trying to be smart for university. I thought I'd wear something that people wouldn't get, but if they think it's going to be porn, I'm going to probably take it off.
So is it like porn can be
no,
art?
No, it's not
is that
like
what you're
porn.
Saying?
It's an art piece. I'm going to get a different. I think I got Nirvana somewhere.
Oh yeah. No, smells like Teen Spirit. Yeah.
Sure does.
Yeah. So did you paint these? And I'll point to the things that he put up on the wall.
Yeah, I painted this one. Looking at it, it's I feel like I don't have to ask this. How much experience has Nate had observing art?
Observing art only when he's forced to. So like field trips, and even then he avoids looking at, like, he just does not pay attention at all.
It's a lot of browns and reds, and it's splotchy. You don't see any distinguishing like humans or faces or anything. It just looks like a bunch of splotches and colors.
So is this like what you see when you have a concussion?
I don't mean to be rude. Do you want me to actually explain it to you? As he's like, you realize as you ask that, he's like taken off the shirt, and you see now like you could tell that he doesn't work out, but he is like high metabolism. He doesn't have defined muscles, but he's almost got that like sort of wiry person who works standing up a lot frame.
Yeah.
And
Be
then
a good runner.
like he's like grabbing shirts from boxes, trying to look for one that isn't moderately pretentious. No, it's woods and hunting.
Like haunted woods?
Hunting.
Hunting. Like hunting in the... So where's the... I don't see any trees or any, like, because it's sort of splotches.
He like is putting the shirt on, and it's a naked baby in a pool. I think that album came out.
Yeah, that came out in like 1992.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, it's metaphorical. It's my dad took me hunting a lot, and the reds on it's like a stain in the woods.
So you took like all the things that people would normally look at in a forest, and then left the things that are like the things that people don't notice, like the splotches of the light and the stuff.
Splotches of blood. But
okay, yeah, okay.
It's impression. It gives you an impression. It's not impression. It's. You ever have one of those conversations where you feel like you could make yourself sound smarter, and you don't take that opportunity?
No.
It's. I mean, someone wanted to buy it for like $1 million, and I said no.
Somebody wanted to buy that for $1 million?
He just like smiles wryly at you.
That's whoa. Nate starts to like sweat a little bit, like, oh, I'm way in over my head. This dude's a master. I was like, so did you get here on scholarship then? For art?
I'm a prodigy. I was painting when I was a fetus. Pen just came right out. Brush, painted it.
So how did they get it up? Wait. Oh, yeah, no, okay. I'm with you. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So nobody gave you the $1 million, or nobody offered you the $1 million, or are you just?
No, it's shit, man. I that was part of my submission to get in here. I'm on an art scholarship.
Oh, nice.
Like
well, I'm on a hockey
you're
scholarship, and I try to high five him.
High five. It slips a little bit because his hands are still lotiony.
And mine are sweaty, so.
Well, it looks like you got all the boxes. I got to unpack. You are great.
Thanks.
I very enjoyed this talk.
Yeah, this look, I know you're really good with the art and stuff, but I look around, I'm like, okay, I don't really know what the college is like, but if people are being mean to you because you're like they think you're like a dweeb because you do art, let me know. I'm across the hallway. I have friends. I get you. You paint blood. That is sick. That is cool. We will come and if you ever just like want to hang out or do whatever, come see the hockey. I could take you skating or whatever. Go on the ice. That stuff. Learn how to do that. Just let me know.
Or drink.
Yeah. Or drink.
Yeah. You're from Canada, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right. 19. Some people come in from the States and they're like, oh, shit, I can drink. You get high?
I mean, I can't because of the sports, because they test,
Good. That's smart.
But like, if I tell coach ahead of time, we can work something out.
And if you find any, let me know.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. See ya. See you later.
Nate.
Yep. That's me.
Benjamin. Benny.
Yep.
No, don't call me Benny. Benjamin. Benny sounds like your mom, and she's a lot shorter and less.
Where's the
muscly
Jets?
than you.
Am I right?
Yeah.
And I just leave. As I get out of the room, realizing my Elton John reference utterly flopped. And I think I just stand outside of the room for a moment, and after sort of gathering myself, I think it occurs to me that I should probably go check and see if anyone has come down yet.
And as you leave, you hear, as you're walking away, the door finally close. And sure enough, when you get down to the meeting spot, there's a few people there. You find out that you were actually the only hockey scholarship this year. And shit's been pretty bad out there. But tryouts are tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Solid. Make sure you show up early to get all kitted up. And the guys seem nice enough. Classic hockey dudes. The date
All right.
is Wednesday, August 24th, 1994, the day of the tryouts. The time is 7:05 a.m. Located in South Kitsilano, about a 10-minute drive to UBC, we see a fairy tale of a street. The sidewalk is surrounded by green and lush lawns, packed with flowers and beautiful gardens. Large trees stand in formation along the road, growing high into the air and arching over, creating a natural tunnel. Light breaks through the leaves, creating a constellation on the pavement. The houses are all storybook duplexes with quaint porches and pointed roofs. Each building is bordered by nature, creating a padding of green between the brown and white paint of the houses. A soft breeze blows through, and the leaves rustle against each other softly. Mary and Andy, you're snapped into reality as a car horn behind you honks loudly, informing you that you have been stopped at a stop sign, lost in wonder, and are about 2 blocks away from your appointment. You drive on for a few more blocks, and the homes abruptly become gray concrete apartments. The entrance is flanked with tacky wood paneling, cheap fences, and dehydrated trees struggling to find moisture. You find the building you were told about and can easily park on the street. And as you step out of your cars, would you each describe yourselves?
Ladies first.
Marie is wearing all black dress, black leggings, black sneakers. She's got curly, dark brown hair that's up in a ponytail, and they're carrying their backpack with them. That's probably like the only spot of color that they have with them, like a bright green backpack. And they're still incredibly short, and the haunted look in their eyes is replaced with a sense of quiet anxiety and happiness, especially being next to this other person that just got out of the car.
Out of our truck.
That's right.
Yeah. Next to Marie is kind of an average height man with like really tan skin and long black hair that's tied in like a loose ponytail in the back, and really just kind green almond shaped eyes. Their body's not like super fit, but they do look like maybe they walk a lot or run a lot or something. And so they kind of look more average built, but the way that he presents himself, even just standing next to Marie, is very like confident and almost like charming and charismatic. He has like these big glasses that frame his eyes, and he's wearing like a white collared shirt with a really cozy sweater that looks like it's been worn a lot. Like it's very much their favorite sweater, and a pair of blue jeans and belts and shoes that match. And you see him kind of like move the sweater up his arms a little bit and look at the time. And they're wearing like a really old watch that looks like it has been handed down.
Okay, this is looking a bit more like we could afford it. I was a little worried back there that there was a mistake or something.
You know, it's our next chapter. I want to find something that is ours.
Me too. And I'll slip my hand into yours as we approach the building.
So you were told to meet at 7:15 a.m. So you have a few minutes. You showed up a bit earlier just to make sure that you found the place all right. There's a bit of a stoop, a garden wall about like half height that you can sort of sit on and wait. You don't see anybody coming in and out, and the time begins to pass. 7:15 comes and goes.
I'll start looking at the outside of the building. Does it seem like it's a nice area? You mentioned there was a garden. Is it well kept?
No. You notice like a bit of trash in the garden, and
Woof.
much like the trees on the street, it seems that they're struggling against the heat of the summer, having no protection from overhead trees. The plants sort of have to take the brunt of the sun. The lawn itself is patchy and sort of dry this time of year, and the metal fence only reaches about to the end of the property and then cuts back behind the building. But beyond that, you don't see any people. Like, you see people walk by that just seem like they live in the area. A few people have dogs that on leashes as they walk by, and there's nothing that sort of shouts out to you as if it's like a dangerous neighborhood or anything.
Andy will wave whenever people come up, like walk by, just like friendly waving.
You get a few waves.
And noticing that Marie is looking around and maybe seeing that the yard is not in the greatest condition, just kind of puts their hand around your waist, if you don't mind, and says,
We can clean that up. That's easy. I'll do it. Don't worry.
Hey, maybe they need like a building manager. We can make a quick extra buck every now and then to take care of stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess I shouldn't bring that up. I just want to seem grateful. I don't know. Oh, God. And they aren't here yet. What time is it?
Yeah, they're kind of late. Maybe something
the time
happened.
is now 8 a.m. Andy, you know that today the tryouts are at 10:30 a.m. You're close. It's, again, as I said, about 10 minutes drive to UBC. But it is in a couple hours.
okay. Yeah. And he's definitely looking at the clock more often than not, but also trying to keep Marie company.
And occasionally you see people come out on their little balconies and sort of like look down and then go back in, and you hear just MTV playing off in the distance.
Does it look like there's another entrance or something that we're missing here?
No, this is the main entrance. It's not too big of a building, but after sort of like worrying and looking around and double checking your
locked?
notes, the front door is locked. Yeah.
Okay.
It sort of goes into the lobby, and it's not until 8:45 a.m. That you see a Goliath of a man enter the lobby and sort of walk up to the door. And he sort of smiles and greets you as he sort of lumbers over and turns the latch and opens it up, and he says, "Oh, you're early."
You're late. I thought our appointment was 7:15.
I'm pretty sure it was for 9 a.m., but regardless, you're here. Come on in. I can show you the places.
Thank you so much for seeing us. It seems like a really great neighborhood. Everyone was very friendly.
Yeah, it's great. It's cheap, and we have a lot of couples as well. You are from the university, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
really quiet. We'll be on time with our rent, of course.
That's good. There are no pets, no children, and rent is due on first of month, not second, and not first Monday of month, first of month. And as he guides you into the interior, you see that it was probably tacky when it was made. There's a single framed mirror above two worn out leather armchairs. The matted carpet is orange and brown repeating pattern that was probably a different color at some point. The entrance itself would probably be a few inches larger were it not for the 2-inch thick wood zigzag paneling along the entire inside. and he guides you to the elevator, which has one call button. And as he presses it, you hear the loud click, and it's quiet for a moment until you hear the entire building lurch as the mechanism in the elevator activates, and you hear it descend down to the first floor. When the doors slide open, you swear that the compartment and the floor don't line up until the landlord steps on and it sort of hunches down under his weight. And it reeks of cigarette smoke as you sort of wedge yourselves into the elevator.
It has an elevator.
It has an elevator.
Yes,
You
it
always
goes to
love them.
basement as well. But you have to get into the elevator and then press basement. That's where the laundry machines are. And you see him press the third floor. The door edges itself closed and lurches up. And there's this sort of moment of like shaking as it slowly pulls itself up.
I think Andy, reactionary, kind of grabs Marie just to, in case safety.
This is great.
He sort of turns to you and it shakes a bit. There are two apartments, one bedroom and one 2-bedroom. I will show you both. 1 bedroom is $650 a month. 2-bedroom is $850 a month, but comes furnished.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
And as the doors creak open, you are greeted by a stucco nightmare. As the hallway is wall-to-wall stucco, you can hear that MTV that was playing off in the distance the moment you enter, as he sort of turns and guides you through the to the hallway. It is quite cramped as well.
You said no pets and no what?
No children. Technically, if you get second bedroom, you can let me know if you have children, but you must keep them quiet.
Okay. So no children, but if we have children, you just want them to be quiet.
Yes, it's a quiet neighborhood.
Right.
And he eventually stops in front of an apartment and pulls out a set of keys and unlocks it. The 1-bedroom apartment is immediately claustrophobic. The door opens, releasing a miasma of dust and lingering cigarette smoke. A small hallway quickly leads to 2 doors on the right side and an open entrance to the kitchen. As he enters, he dares not enter the kitchen, considering he probably wouldn't even fit if he tried. There's a low bar opening with cupboards on top, sort of looking out into the living room. And you see that the floor is a crisscross wood with a few small sections popped up. The living room extends out, taking up most of the square footage, ending at gray-white wall-height curtains with pale light sort of shining through. This is kitchen area, living room areas over here.
Andy
He sort
kind
of
of walks
looks you.
in and opens the window a little and looks at Marie and says,
Look, it's cozy.
Definitely.
As you open the curtains, like a bit of dust comes off, and you see that there's large sliding doors that lead to about 1.5 feet of balcony. That as you look at it, you swear that it tilts down a bit.
And we've got
balcony?
a view.
Oh my gosh, we could put some plants out there. Oh, it's like our own little porch.
Exactly.
Balconies must all remain same. You can put small chair, no barbecue, no bikes out there.
But surely we can put some plants out there.
Front of building must all appear the same. All the balconies must be unison as for appearance.
Right.
God forbid anyone be unique.
He doesn't seem to hear you or pretends that he doesn't.
We could
You
put the
also
plants
notice
on
that
the inside.
he pulls out of his front pocket what appears to be a yellow disposable camera and starts taking pictures of different sections of the apartment. This is for damage deposit.
Wasn't there another one that we were gonna see?
Yes, I will show you that as well. It's in case you break anything while you're here.
Okay.
Everything in this apartment is cramped. The fridge door opens with just crap. Well, that too. The fridge door opens with just enough room to not hit the cupboards on the other side, and the bar area is so short that Andy actually has to bend over to use it. It's a good height for you, Marie. The bathroom consists of a sink with limited counter space, a toilet, and a tub in quick succession. The tub is a strange pink flesh color that you can't imagine was ever in style. And when he finally shows you the bedroom, it is about the same size as the living room, if a bit more shallow. There is a small closet that you immediately notice can't open if you have the bedroom door open at the same time. And there's a small window sort of on the same wall as the sliding door in the living room.
And you have a closet.
You mentioned that there was laundry downstairs. Is there any storage rooms downstairs as well?
Storage room is extra $15 a month.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have that much stuff anyway.
Yeah, we can manage. Is it coin operated?
Laundry is coin operated, 1/4 each.
All right.
Do you want me to show you second? 2-bedroom.
Yeah, please. That would be nice.
And he sort of leads you out and
Is it
closes and locks the door.
Bigger than this, or?
Yes. And as soon as he closes, he immediately turns to his right to another door at the end of the hallway and begins to unlock that one. The 2-bedroom reflects mostly the aesthetic of the 1-bedroom, but expands itself outward as if the smaller apartment was allowed to exhale heavily. The kitchen easily supports 2 people in full activity and has a second entrance on the other side. The bathroom occupies a bit more of the bedroom space, creating more of a square room for both of them. But the second bedroom is opposite the first and faces out towards the main road with what you can see are like 2 nearly attached corner windows. The balcony remains largely unchanged. The big difference, however, is that there is furniture. There's a small bed with a comic book blanket and pillowcases. The living room has a large 3-person couch facing a modest-sized TV. In the main bedroom, there is a larger bed with more mature bedding and a solid wood headboard. It's lightly decorated, mostly with paintings you'd expect to find in a mall. There are thin, dark tapestries sort of hung throughout the apartment, which have collected dust in disuse, and the air sort of lingers with still particles.
This is nice.
Yeah. And
I mean,
this
we'd
window.
save money with not having to furnish ourselves. I mean, we've
Less
got
for us
what?
to move too.
Yeah. A couch. I mean, we don't even have to bring my mom's couch. We've got a couch already here.
That's true. See, it'll all come together. I told you it would.
Yeah.
So as I said, 1-bedroom, $650 a month, 2-bedroom, $850 a month. Does not cover electricity, hot water included.
Is there some room to budge a little? Maybe bring that down 100, 750?
No.
We
it is,
noticed that
well thought after building.
there was some opportunity for perhaps some outdoor yard work to be completed. You know, Andy's very handy as well. Maybe we could help
Yeah.
take care of the building?
I could help clean up the gardening area and maybe even make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Not that it's not great now, but
One of you give me a fast talk roll.
Ooh, fast talk.
I will
Five
say that
in that.
I will say that it
I
is
thought I was good at talking, but fast talk apparently not.
Please make it a hard fast talk because you are trying to talk down a set price in an established apartment building.
What about
Could an argument
persuade?
be
I'm
made? Yes,
very
for
good at
persuading.
persuading. Like that's
so-
what I thought I was doing here.
In Call of Cthulhu, persuade is more considered like a longer term conversation. I could, if you wanted to sort of play a bit more hardball and like bounce around for maybe 10, 15 minutes, I could be convinced to allow persuade, but mostly for like those quick, fast, off the cuff, like persuasion rolls that you would normally have in D&D.
I feel like
it would be
we're
fast
going for the
talk.
long haul. We're offering a couple different options, and I think Andy's pointing out that it's dusty, that they're gonna have to get a cleaner to come in.
All right, go ahead and give me a persuasion roll.
Okay, and
as
you
the
said this
time
is
ticks on.
extreme or hard?
Hard.
Hard. Okay. If I don't succeed, how? I have 100 in that. Why does it say 50? Oh, because it's hard. 60
So
out
what
of
did you get?
50. 60 out of 50. I got a failure.
So about 15 minutes go back, kind of bouncing back and forth between the two buildings, sort of talking about the work that's going to be needed to be done. And you can kind of sense that he's starting to get a bit agitated, and that what you've been seeing so far has been cordial. Listen, university students come in here all the time. Rooms are backed up. I can get someone in here tomorrow to fill these rooms.
I'm sorry. I just trying to negotiate like my dad. It's fine. We'll take it.
I am landlord, not owner.
Right.
So 2-bedroom, $850.
What do you think?
I mean, you said we'll take it. If you want it, then I'm all for it.
All right.
The time is 9:30 a.m.
Oh, crap. I gotta go.
Both tenants
What?
must be here to sign agreement. You've brought
Fine.
references and background checks, yes?
And I'll like reach into my bag and start like fumbling through my notebooks, and like a bunch of loose papers start like falling to the floor.
And I think Andy's just picking up everything that's falling on the floor.
I've got my work reference.
Come to office. Come down to office. Go gather everything. I will lock up. And he sort of pushes you out of the apartment and locks the door. And agonizingly slow leads you back down to the first floor. As he passes a door on the first floor, sort of leading back into the main building, he points and says, "This is my apartment. You drop off checks first of month, not second, not first Monday. Office is here," and it is a door right across the hallway. As he enters, you see a small desk and barely enough space for the two of you to sit on one side of it. And
Andy
just,
lets Marie sit, and we'll stand.
Thanks.
as you sort of like inch in and close the door.
He like tries to move the chair for you to sit down.
So sweet. You're two so in love. And he starts like sliding out like filing cabinets, finding tenant agreements. Again, time just ticking away.
Yeah, Andy's continually looking at the wrist.
You sort of get the impression that he heard that you were in a rush, and he did not appreciate the amount of hassle that you had given him earlier. But eventually he pulls out some forms, puts them down, and slides them aggressively to the side and puts out his hand. References.
Oh,
Background
yeah.
checks.
Here you go.
And
I don't think
Andy-
I would have a background check. Is that something that I would know to prepare for this? Like a criminal record check?
You get the impression that he's like, oh, let's go ahead and make you roll for it.
Roll for it.
What would be a good... Okay, I personally don't remember the difference between
Analysis.
and psychology. One of them is reading people, and one of them is more the mental aspect. So,
Psychoanalysis would probably be reading people, I would imagine.
all right.
Because you're
So
analyzing.
go ahead, give me a psychoanalysis to get a read of
Psychology
him.
one.
I have to get a 1 to succeed in this.
I feel like they. Okay.
I got a 3 though, but I still fail.
Let me check real quick because I know that some of these are. They have default numbers if you don't have.
So psychology
skills.
is like insight, detecting motives, and psychoanalysis is
Oh, then yeah, do the other
psychological
one.
healing.
Psychology then. Perception, common to all humans, to form the idea of human persons' motives.
Okay, I have a 30 in that, so it's more likely I'll make
Even
it.
better.
But
Also helps
I
with, like,
don't.
insanity apparently.
47 versus 30.
You sweat nervously because this wasn't something that you thought you would have to bring. And he looks expectingly at you as you begin to hand him papers.
Here you go, and I'll just try and like not mention it and just
he
give the work references.
He grabs them and sort of looks up at you and he says, no background check. I will have to pay for that myself. I'll put it on the first month's rent.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
And he sort of like flips through the references.
We have no
much-
pets.
How much work experience do each of you have?
Ooh.
I work at a like diner / pub in the city. I've worked there probably the last 5 years. Never worked anywhere else.
And Andy kind of does like a barista stuff, but then mostly spends most of his time doing hockey and school. So not a ton of income, but
So you got scholarship then for hockey.
Not exactly.
Oh. Kind of like smiles to himself a little bit as he checks his own watch.
Head, asshole. I don't say
Let's-
that.
Flips through everything for a while. I like you two. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. First and last month's rent plus damage deposit up front.
Is
Okay.
that by a check?
Yes, check.
I look at Andy.
I think it's probably like everything that we have.
Yeah.
And
To
Andy,
remind you, that is $850 for the first month, $850 for the last month, and $425 for the damage deposit.
yeah, and Andy pulls out their checkbook and writes it down, and then pulls off the top part of the check. You can see like the imprint of the printed version underneath, and hands it to him.
He looks it over and sort of nods and types up on one of those printer calculators a quick receipt for you and sort of rips it off and hands you the forms to sign the tenant agreement.
Thank you. And I go to sign, and I want to take a second to look it over.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Sounds like
Make
someone's
sure that
rented in
nothing-
Vancouver before.
Sticks out. Seems shadier than what I'm willing to go shadiness levels.
Oh man, I'm gonna do it. Give me a education roll.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, that's a skill up at the top.
Yes, or an
Okay.
attribute.
Yeah, attribute. Sorry. Yeah. Oh my
Oh.
God, I'm rolling so
73 out of
bad
50.
compared to last
Oh.
time.
Maybe I should have rolled. Can I look
The-
over it too, or can it only be one person's reading? Can I be like reading over Marie's shoulder?
You can, but I have to give something bad for failing.
Oh, yeah.
But you can go ahead and give
Is
a
this
roll
a
as
regular or hard, or is it hard because I'm looking over her shoulder, or?
I'll say it's regular since you two are fairly close. I'm being generous in this scene.
Thank you, dude. Thank you, Kipa.
Thank you.
56 out of 75. All right.
Oh, there we go.
Marie, you get nervous. You start reading, and it is a lot of jargon. They do that thing where they name you as something else in the agreement, so that when you're reading everything, you have to jump back, reference if that's you or the other person. There's a lot of things about different violations, and it sounds very bad to not as a bad agreement, but it sounds like there are a lot of hoops you have to jump through as a renter, and you sort of get nervous as a first-time renter that you will, simply by reading this, you're somehow breaking some violation.
I'll be really careful.
Andy, as you sort of like peek over, you catch a few things. There's the quiet time is 11, and if anybody stays in the apartment for more than 3 consecutive days or a week in a month, they either need to be added to the tenant agreement, or you risk violating the agreement and might meet eviction.
Okay.
Okay.
Does, like, when Annie's looking at that part about, someone being there for more than 3 days, does that include, like, does it seem like a new dependent would be an issue in this situation?
It says any guests that stay there for more than 3 consecutive days or a week in a month
Okay.
must be added to the tenant agreement, or you risk getting evicted.
Okay.
But those are the only things that you managed to pick up.
I don't think he's concerned
the
about
pages
that.
shaking a bit.
And just kind of like gives Marie like a little massage on the shoulder, because he can tell that she's maybe getting a little tensed up.
Dressed. Does it seem okay?
Yeah, little things here and there that we'll just have to be conscious of.
Okay, and I'll sign it.
All right. And as you do, he takes the check, makes a carbon copy of both that and the agreement, hands it to you. It seems like the moment that you've signed the agreement, he becomes a lot faster and more professional, as he is like swiftly ripping off pages, handing you, stapling them together.
I'm looking at the
signing his
clock.
own
Am I late?
stuff. The time is now 10 a.m.
Okay.
He signs all of that, gives you all your copies, and then takes his ring of keys and sort of like flips through them and pulls off a copy of the apartment key, as well as a key to get through the front entrance.
Thanks so much. I think we have to go, but we'll see you around the building, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
first
you
of
so
month.
much. Of course, we'll make sure we won't be late.
And just sort of like goes to filing things as he sort of like brushes you out of the room.
Yeah, Andy opens the door and holds it for Marie.
A house. It's basically a house. There's a balcony.
There's 2 beds, 2 bedrooms. We have a kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but I'm
This is
really
amazing.
late. I want to celebrate. I want to spin you around in the room and kiss you, but I gotta go.
Okay. I guess I'll come with you.
Sure.
We will rush out excitedly,
As we like
but nervously.
get in the car, I want to be like, what's the chances of us being able to sneak a cat in there?
Marie.
And I look at you.
Maybe we'll see. Let's discuss it later tonight.
That means no.
as you hop in your car and head west towards UBC. Luckily, this early, there's not a lot of traffic. So luckily, you make it to the Thunderbird Winter Sports Center at about 10:20. You have 10 minutes to get ready and put on your equipment, which remind us which position Andy plays.
He is the goaltender, goalkeep, the goalie.
A very well-known quick to put on your equipment.
Stuff to put on. Oh God.
The Thunderbird Winter Sports Center is a large concrete and hardwood building. It looks very almost like a warehouse at this point. The front entrance is a bit nicer with a large wooden sign that says Thunderbird Winter Sports Center. There's a few flags outside with the BC and Canada and other flags blowing on it. There is paid parking. It's $1.50 just for guests at this time because it's off hours at the moment. And you rush in. Did Andy bring his equipment?
Yes, that was in the truck. Brought
Good.
the equipment.
As you lug, I've seen goalkeeper bags. They are the size of a human plus another one. As you lug it out the back of the truck and wheel it to the front.
Good luck, Thunderbird, and I'll just like smack your butt as you head out.
I think Andy just kind of grins and does like a kiss, like a kiss in the air, and blows it to Marie.
Is the truck is all our stuff in the truck? Should I stay with the truck?
I mean, it'll be fine.
Is it one of those pickup trucks that has the roof over the back?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it could have a roof over the back, but Andy doesn't have the money for that. It's like a 1972 Chevy C20, and it's like, it's kind of run down. It's not the best truck, but it's running. It gets us from point A to point B.
That's fair.
I'll be here, and I'll just hop into the back of the truck on some of our. I'm sure we packed some stuff, and I'll just take out a notebook and start writing in it.
Before I continue, I have a question for Laura. Everything has been taken care of. You've been given a new room. You got some of the rent was actually taken off of the first month to apologize for the hassle. And the other Laura F refuses to look you in the eye as she is too embarrassed. Would you have any interest coming to watch the tryouts? It is free for all students to watch them. They're tryouts as exciting as that is to anybody.
I think because it's been a whirlwind, I'm happy I have my room, but I want to try to get a lay of the land of the campus. So I might have just been out and about and seen a kerfuffle or there's some sort of hype happening in that area. So I'll wander over to see what it's all about.
Okay. Yeah. By the time you get there, it's not like the whole student body is here to watch. Most of the people who are here are for the tryouts. So you see a lot of burly men with hockey bags or some younger wiry ones trying their best. But there are advertisements on the front of the building saying that tryouts are happening. Students are free to watch. It is happening both today and tomorrow, our tryouts. Something that Andy was not informed of. A person that you don't know.
Yeah. I think I would go in and at least check it out because we don't have hockey in the States. Even though I was from Soap Lake, Washington, and we're close to Canada, it's still not as prevalent as it is here. So kind of I got to get into the school spirit. I mean, I'm here. I got to immerse myself in the culture of hockey now.
Nice. The first thing you notice entering is the skating rinks have those sort of like musky, wet smell when you enter them, and they have those like not spongy, but almost like depressed floors as you walk in, because a lot of people are walking with skates on. It's a fairly nice interior building. Again, there are efforts to incorporate some indigenous design in some places. Definitely in the 90s, they're trying to start to incorporate a lot of that. And recently, they converted one of the curling rinks into more hockey. So there are now 4 hockey rinks within this building. And you see a few people sort of like hanging out and laughing as they walk towards the practice rink that is currently being used for the tryouts. As you get in, the time is 10:25 a.m. And you see modest stands. It's sort of those like 5 high stands that you would see in like outdoor hockey or outdoor soccer and stuff like that. It's not a large hockey arena by any means. It's cold inside, and you see people with Tim Hortons sort of like cuddling up, shaking a bit against the cold. But there's maybe about 20
And it
or
has
so
this
people.
distinct smell.
Yes, that sort of like
Sweaty.
sweat has been in this place for decades now. It will never go
encased
away.
in ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would look around, and I don't know that I'd sit down, but I'd probably walk up the they're not bleachers, the seating a little ways into the top, and kind of just observe everything, because I'm there alone, so I'm feeling awkward that I'm there alone, and I'm about to watch some people, I guess, attempt to get on the hockey team.
And you see a few like people out on the rink now taking slap shots. Some of the team have come to warm up a bit. Meanwhile, in the locker room, Nate, you and the others have gotten all ready, and a few of them are out sort of warming up now. And one guy has been sitting next to you. He's one of the ones that were with you during the orientation, I guess. His name is Chance McDonald, and what you've gotten so far is he's your average hockey alpha. He's well built, but in that way that if he wears like a suit, he looks like a child of means and not one that has been working out his entire life. He's got, normally his hair is like coiffed kind of to the side, like young Leonardo DiCaprio, but in his helmet, he's sort of like pushed it back. All right, newbie. I'm second year, which means that I'm basically the captain for the tryouts. The coach is going to be in the stands as well as the trainers and anyone else that's making the decisions. But we gotta work these guys hard. They're coming in untested and raw, and we gotta make sure that we don't have any losers or any punks or fucking hosers coming on this team. All right, so you ready to work them until they want to fucking die and go back to their mama?
You want me to stick it to him?
Oh yeah.
Because I'll put him under the ice.
Put them under. The Zamboni's gonna cool over them and freeze the ice over them. Knock them in, knock them out. I don't give a fuck. Just make sure that we don't get anyone that's gonna make us look bad.
Copy that. Nate stands up and like, do the Thunder? I mean, I don't know what they have in real life, but we could say that. Do the Thunderbirds have like a little saying before they go out on the ice? Like, the first thing that comes to mind is Thunderbirds, ho! But that's the wrong franchise. So.
I feel like you expect it to be something great, but it's more like as you're about to go on the ice, you notice that it's like 10:29, and at almost precisely 10:30, you hear over the speaker, "Welcome to the Jungle" start playing. Wait, let me check real quick. Did Welcome to the Jungle come out?
Oh, yeah, that came out in 1989 or
thank
87
you.
or something.
I'm a child, so I'm not too sure. But you hear Welcome to the Jungle, a standard Canadian hockey song to play to get the players pumped up. And while you expect like some sort of cry or chant or something like that. It's basically, let's fucking go.
I'm like, let's fucking go. I get hyped. As soon as that
smacks your helmet a
siren
bit.
scream comes on, I'm like, oh, and I try to time it so that I burst onto the ice just as the guitar riff comes in with the
Sick.
dank, and I'm like, yeah, just storming on, trying to be like in full aggression mode.
As you do, it is like you said. It's like walking. You become the amazing hockey player that you are known to be, and you feel like you're meant to be out here. And you see the one or two people clustered here and there in the stands, and your team sort of like gets together. You're wearing sort of the like practice gear. You haven't gotten your official jersey yet. They need to figure out what number everyone is and stuff. And you see that your goaltender's in your net, and everyone's psyched and stuff. And then you see sitting in the other bench are a few of the people here to try out, basically in like their own jerseys or like their own gear, sort of just like basically lined up in clusters. And you can see a coach sort of like giving out calls and stuff to like have them go out and do shots and stuff like that. It's rough. As I said, you are one of the you are the only scholarship pick this year, and you can kind of start to see why. Like some of these guys probably have been playing like on frozen ponds during the winter. Some of them have like haven't really played since like middle school or anything like that. And but there's one guy that you're waiting and looking out for, and that's your boy Andrew, who is about 5 minutes late.
As soon as I see that, I'm like, oh no, you don't show up late to practice? You definitely don't show up late to tryouts. What is he doing? And I think to myself, I have to make everyone else here look awful. It's just so that Andy can look as good as possible.
Oh man, go!
Andy does need help. Andy's not the best hockey player. Andy is what they call a duster. He sits on the bench most of the time. He's like the backup goalie.
All right, I'm gonna say. So you're just going full aggro, right?
Yeah, I've moved out of tryouts mode and I have moved into championship mode, and I'm like, it is the final game of the season. Our whole future is on the line. I have to destroy these men, and that is my goal. Is to no one scores, like no one gets close to the goal. I want to prevent, at least on the left side, I want no shots coming through.
Yeah.
I want to be a wall.
Go ahead and give me a strength then.
Okay.
As you are basically attacking these men.
Oh no! 91 versus 76.
Woof.
This is
You're-
brutal. I'm sorry, Andy. I tried.
Your confidence going in is high, and you're pumped, and more 90s and 80s rock and roll is playing than it's ever played in your entire life. And you start slamming some of these guys into the
Into the
my
boards.
brain boards. Thank you, my brain. Into the boards. You're hear cracks like they're going off. And about 20 minutes go by of this. And you see this big guy come up. This forward.
Mm-hmm.
And you still think you got him. And he comes up. He's got the puck. You're lined up. You go straight for him. You hit him. It's like hitting a wall. He slams into the boards, and your arm dislocates from your shoulder, as you slam into this guy who sort of like hugs you a bit and then like pushes you onto the ice, and you slip and sort of like slide on your back on the ice. The pain hasn't kicked in, but I don't know if this is the first time that this has
It's my
happened.
bad shoulder. It's my bad shoulder.
You know the pain's coming.
Yeah. Would we be able to say that I've had this happen enough times that I kind of know how to get it back in?
I would say so. And Chance kind of like comes up to you and he says, "Dude, that guy was like a fucking wall. We gotta get him on D."
Yeah. I'm like,
You all right?
agreed. And I don't want to let on that it's happened. Is it possible for me to like use my hand holding the hockey stick, sort of lift up my dislocated arm so that I can try and do like a predator handshake? And then when he grabs my hand, I'm just gonna yank.
Oh, I'm
That's terrible.
I'm gonna say
Gross.
that
I love it.
I will say confidently that you can do this, but I'm going to have you roll Constitution hard to make it look like you are not hurt as you are.
Okay. All right. Put her there, champ. The grab, and then with all like the strength I have in my almost numb arm, grab onto his hand, and then here we go. Here's Constitution. That's 60 versus 33.
Oh no.
You do it. You like grab his arm. He like takes off his glove to help you and like pulls. And the moment that your back comes off the ice, you feel that like as it comes back into the socket. And you stand up and he like gets you, and then sort of like pats you on the shoulder. And he's like, "Fuck yeah, dude." And you just, your vision goes red and pain just strikes through your entire body as you howl in pain.
Yeah, I think I heave for a moment, like a full like dry heave, and then manage like eyes like streaming now, and it is very obvious that there is an injury to my shoulder.
Oh, all right, man, get off the ice. We got Coach will get some medics on you, man. Go. We don't want to fuck up your shoulder first day.
Yeah. No, I just need 5. I just need 5, maybe.
No, man,
maybe 10.
take the rest of the day. You're off.
Maybe 15. Oh,
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. You don't have to prove yourself, man. You got this. Take today. Take tomorrow. You're fucking golden, man.
I'm gonna skate over to the coach and be like, "Hey, coach, is here? I'm gonna look up. Is Andy here?"
As you skate over to your bench, the coach is there. He's like already wearing his like suit and tie, and like it looks like he looks like dude wants to be in the NHL right now. And he's got his clipboard, and as you skate up, just out of the corner of your eye, you can see Andy standing in the hall, sort of leading towards the bench. You can see him just peeking out in his full goaltender outfit.
I think when I see Andy, it's a mixture of feelings, 2 feelings at once. My heart soars. There's like a moment, and then it drops because I'm like, oh no! Like there's another twinge of just like ooh from my shoulder. I will ask you, GM, is it possible for me to even attempt to convince the coach to let me get back on the ice? Like, am I in a position to muster up? Because I'm a hockey player. We play through injuries. People get dislocations, they pop them back in and they go out. Usually it's just fingers. It's not usually full arms, like full shoulder dislocations. Is it possible for me to maybe muster the will to attempt to convince the coach to go back out?
I'll give you the lowdown. It is tryouts. Like, you guys are supposed to be given like 50% maybe. Chance hyped you up probably more than the coach actually wanted to. And but he doesn't know how injured you are. Chance saw this happen. So it's not so much that you're trying to convince the coach of you being injured. It's will Chance narc on you if you try to go back on the ice.
can I give it a couple of minutes? I'm gonna sit down and I want to see, because I need to take a few minutes out no matter what.
Yeah.
Can I see how Andy does?
All right.
And
It's not unusual for you guys to come off and sit on the bench for a bit. So the coach like barely even notices. He like, all right, you head out, and another guy kind of replaces you. But yeah, for sure.
I would like to wave to Andy as Andy's coming out. I want to just give
different
like
hand though, right?
Yeah, the uninjured one. I go no.
Oh yeah, and he will be like, "Hey,
Andy!
Yeah, Andy, it's so good to see you. Get out there, dude. Get out there.
Yeah.
Get it. You go kill it. Kill it. You got this. You got this."
He's like holding up his stick and kind of skates out there.
I want to smack him on the butt with my hockey stick as he goes out.
You have to specifically skate past the basically home team bench to talk to Nate. So the coach like acknowledges you, Andy. It kind of looks like he acknowledges that you two are friends. Whether or not that helps or hinders, you're not too sure. But he sort of directs you off to the other goal and like directs some of his like harder hitting members to start doing slap shots on you. Weird energy,
okay.
Laura. Is your first experience for live hockey in Canada. Strange energy on the ice right now.
I mean, I've never watched it, so just seeing this, I'm like, is this what it's always like? And just seeing Nate, not knowing who Nate is, just kind of get bodied a little bit. Well, do I know? Can I tell from the outside, like from what happened, that you are really injured?
I think you would have seen me just absolutely pancaking people previously, and then get pancaked myself, and then from
Yell
a distance
audibly.
you might have heard me yell. Yeah, you might have heard me like "Rah!" But you're not necessarily. I've been loud since I've been on the ice anyway, so you're not sure. I would say it's not 100% clear whether it's like me in agony or me just being like just generally boisterous. But I would say I don't look good. Like as I skate off the ice, I'm definitely holding my shoulder weird.
Yeah, I think that I'm just perplexed, like watching this all go down, not really understanding and seeing like, did that person get really hurt just now or no? And just kind of watching everything that's going on. I'm probably fixated on Nate for a while just because the screaming and then also getting pancaked. And then once everything kind of gets more normalized, I'm going to watch to see if anybody else gets pancaked, I guess.
My screams muffled the sound of the pop of my shoulder, so it's not quite clear.
Regardless, Andy, you're now just taking slap shot after slap shot. Go ahead and give me a dexterity roll.
Okay. All right. I'm not bad at that. Come on. Come on. We got this. 22 out of 60. Yes.
Nice. You again. These guys seem very aggressive. Reminding you of Nate a bit, and I feel like even though Nate's D, like you probably practice a lot regardless, and so these guys are bringing to you the energy that you are well accustomed to at this point, and so you're like blocking them, deflecting them, catching them, and you see this like hockey guy skate up as Chase comes up for the slap shot. Chase, of course, being right forward or whatever the fuck it's called in hockey. And he's going to go ahead and try to hit it as hard as he possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and roll, and then that is going to be the number that you have to beat.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's kind of fun. I like that.
I think the position would be right wing, right?
Right wing, yes. The
Yeah.
douchiest position. Oh no, I didn't save his stats. I have to grab. I'll just roll a d100 and let you know what it is.
You're just giving us the suspense.
Technically, he has to beat his stat, which I remember what it is. But he comes at you and seems a bit intimidated by how well you've been doing, and he goes to slap shot, and it doesn't have as much power behind it. So you have to beat a 85.
You got this.
You want to roll
I
under
have to
that?
roll under 85. Okay. I was
Yeah.
like, I have
Yeah.
to roll above an 85? So this is dexterity, right? This is like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's pray to the Iron Jesus.
Nate is on the edge of his seat.
67. Woo!
Yes.
Woo, we beat it. Looks like a failure, but it's not.
You take advantage of the fact that he is clearly overconfident, stumbles a bit, and you do just the most stylish save, fumbling it a bit yourself, but just managed to deflect it, and you hear the ting as it bounces off of the goal and sort of like hits the mesh behind you, and you see like a kind of like reluctant nod from Chase as he skates away. And you are like exhausted at this point from blocking, and the coach calls you in. Infuriatingly does not give you a positive or negative remark, and just sort of like marks some stuff on his board, and sort of tells you to hit the showers.
When can we say that when Andy made that save, that Nate fully jumped up and went, yeah! Oh! And then
100%.
sat down, but is like, yes, I'm talking about.
The coach takes notice of this and sort of like looks over and he's go hit the showers. I don't want you injured for the season.
Yeah, sure thing, coach, sure thing. I head off, and do I see Andy as I head off to the showers?
They're separate showers, so there's the home and away,
Okay.
but you can meet up after you've sort of taken off all your equipment and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna take off all my equipment. Probably take a while with my arm under my shoulder, underneath the warm water, and just like, just stand there for a while. And then definitely get some ice, but sort of put the ice underneath my clothes so that it gets, you can't really tell, with the double layers of flannel. And then when I come out, and if I see Andy, I'm going full in, grabbing, pulling him in, like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
dude.
Andy
That's
will
what
get
I'm
in on
talking
that.
about. Yes, you did so well. You did
It's
so
still
well.
away? Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. I thought he had me there, but then I was like, oh. It was wild.
I saw you throwing in some splits. I'm telling you, the splits, even if you don't have to do them, they look cool.
It's just kind of painful, but
No pain, no gain, man. Look, you were like a brick wall. Nothing could get past you. That was incredible.
yeah, I was a little nervous. We got the house, dude.
You got the house?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
It was a little rough. The first one that we saw I could see it in Marie's face. She was like, where the hell are you taking me? But the second place is good, and it's furnished.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's got furniture?
Yeah. I mean, it has a couch. We don't have to take her couch now. I was trying to figure out like how we're gonna pick up her mom's couch, and it's a whole situation. But now we don't have to worry about it.
Fantastic, dude. And hey, what's it like being married, huh?
I mean,
He like holds up his ring, his hand, and he's like,
it's not that different actually.
Yeah, same old. Put my arm around Andy tightly, and I would just start. I think, without even really thinking, the pain in my shoulder is gone, and I'd like to. I'm like, can I come see the house? You want to see where I'm staying, or do you want me to? Can I come see?
Yeah. You can come on over. Maybe we'll do a little housewarming thing, but you're not allowed to stay for more than 3 days.
What? Why?
I
You
don't know.
guys-
Something in the contract. You have a guest
you
that stays
guys-
longer than 3 days.
You guys head out, meet up with Marie, and reacquaint your new apartment. The date is Friday, August 26, 1994. The time is 12:45 p.m. It's been 4 days, Laura, since the hassle with the dorm room, and you've settled in, sort of got acquainted with the place. Not a lot of students have arrived at campus yet, since classes don't officially start until Thursday, September 1st. So a lot of them have been arriving here and there to just get acquainted, like students like you. But most of them will show up earlier next week, because a lot of them might be local or whatever. The facilities are all running. You've mostly found your way around, but it's been relatively lonely, save for the passing smile and greeting that you get from staff. You've already been to the Coquihalla Common Block, which is where you spent the night. And it is sort of the common area that people will hang out. So the few students that you actually see will be there. The campus has some shops and cafes, but other than that, what would Laura be doing on a 12:45 on a Friday?
12:45 on a Friday. Was there a newsletter? Is there any events going on tonight?
Not really. There's basically not like guides for students around campus throughout the nearly a month, just as they trickle in. You missed the one on the day you arrived, and then basically have been catching up yourself, just walking around.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's between the summer classes and the winter classes. So there's not that much going on at this point.
I think I would probably get the map out of campus. I'd check the time and be like, oh, it's too early to call home for my nightly check-in with my parents. And so I'd probably close my eyes and just put my finger somewhere on the map and go, I'm going to go there. And when I open my eyes, I see that it's landed on the botanical gardens. And so hadn't been there yet. Might as well go that way.
All right. It's relatively close to your dorm. And it's about between the stadium that you had gone to previously is about between you and the botanical gardens. So you sort of pass it on the way. And it's a lovely place. It's sort of got like a main square, lots of flowers, and there's a few benches here and there. It almost feels like enclosed and separated from the rest of the campus, as there are like hedges and stuff that are built. And it seems really lovely. It's quite large as well compared to what you're maybe used to for such a well-kept and like obviously like put together gardens.
I probably take some time and realize like I feel sit on a bench and just kind of look at the flowers and maybe have a moment of like, how am I going to meet people? Like I've been here 4 days and the most interaction I think I've had is with the other Laura, who doesn't meet my eyes any longer. So I just take a few deep breaths and I look at the gardens and just kind of settle into a little bit of like the calm and the quiet. There's probably hopefully not a lot of people around. Like what's the focal point here is the plants. Mm-hmm. And so I take a minute to center myself and decide that I'm going to put myself out there and maybe try to meet some people in the complex that I live in now in my dorm. So I kind of like on my way back, I stand up and I'm like psyching myself up. Like, you can say hi to people. Like, you can ask them what their interests are. And like, just kind of getting myself ready to maybe find somebody because it's been so painfully lonely since I've been here.
Are you listening to music right now?
Oh yeah, I never let anybody know that I like Annie Lennox because it's not the in vogue thing, you know. And as a college kid in '94, so I have some Annie Lennox playing.
All right. So you sort of like hype yourself up and start walking away from the botanical gardens, headed towards your dorm. And on the way, you see 3 guys sort of like coming out of the hockey arena. And they're sort of like laughing and chatting and stuff. Each of them are wearing some sort of amalgam of like MTV shirt, jeans, sweatpants, runners, denim. Each of them sports similar hairstyles with like subtle differences such as quantity of gel, combing directions and shades of brown. The one that sort of appears to be their leader, you notice is looking at you and smiling. And he sort of like walks up to you as his friends are sort of like trailing behind him and like waiting. And you don't, his mouth moves, but you don't hear what he's saying.
Is he wearing the MTV shirt?
He's got like almost like a plain white shirt with like a subtle like almost silver design in it that could be like a sports logo or something like that. And he's got like a not quite denim or not quite plaid, but like just a button down sort of blue one that's like the sleeves are rolled up to his elbows.
Okay. I think it's in that moment I realize that I'm assuming that it's the reason I can't hear what he's saying is because Annie Lennox is singing Walking on Broken Glass in my ears. So I realize that and I'll take my headphones down. Sorry, what was that?
He said, what were you listening to?
Oh, and there's too long of a pause as I'm trying to come up with like another thing besides Annie Lennox. Nirvana.
Sick.
Yeah.
You new here?
Yeah, I just moved here 4 days ago. I'm trying to get a lay of the land.
Nice. Well, I'm guys, come on over here. You see the friends like sort of come over. This is my second year. I'm on the hockey team.
Oh yeah, I watched you. Oh, I watched you guys do the
nice.
Tryouts. It looks painful.
You see them like smile, and as the two other guys show up, you can see like they're standard hockey guys. Like they all have some sort of similar aesthetic to them. One of them's trying to rock like a mustache, but it's not quite working. But as you say that, they sort of laugh and they're like, well, we can handle it. We're pretty big. Yo, you should come. We're having a party. We got a bush party out by Oasis Beach. It's for the first years. We're gonna it's gonna be awesome. You seem cool. You're like goth or like grunge or something, right?
Yeah. What do you mean by a bush party? Like the band Bush, or do you mean like in the bushes?
No, we all drive out into the woods and we bring a bunch of beers, maybe something else, and just hang out and see what happens.
Laura's is trying to compose herself because she didn't really do drinking or any of the marijuanas or any of the drugs in high school. So she's like, okay, be cool. That sounds awesome. I'd love to come.
Cool. Where are you at? We could walk you back to your dorm or something. We could talk about it. I love
sure.
Nirvana. Teen Spirit. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And,
what kind of music do you like?
Mostly I love Britney Spears. She's like super hot and shit. And
well,
I feel like that's too young, isn't it? One of these references I'm gonna get wrong eventually.
It's okay.
Alanis Morissette. She's super hot.
Britney Spears was on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Fuck yeah. No, too early. But as they're talking, you sort of get that flanked vibe from the other guys.
Does it feel safe? Do I get a good vibe from them?
They don't feel immediate. They feel, again, flanked. You don't feel like you are able to leave as they are talking to you, trying to connect to you.
Because the first thing I thought of when they walked over is they're probably a lot taller than me, so I'm just surrounded by three very big guys right now. I can walk back to my place. If you just want to give me the address, I can try to meet you later.
Well, sure. I mean, we can walk you.
What's your name?
Chase McDonald.
Oh, nice. I'm Laura.
Nice. These are my friends, Chet, Brad.
Hello, Chet and Brad. Do they? Hi. Do they talk?
Hey. Yeah, we do. The time is 1 p.m. Andy,
Yikes.
Nate, and Marie are coming back from having lunch. This is the first day that you've sort of hung out on campus since the tryouts. You've been hanging out in the apartment, unpacking and stuff like that. And you're just sort of walking back from cafe.
So how's the room situation?
Oh, it's pretty great, I gotta say. I'm pretty close to the facilities, and got some pretty cool people in my building,
Oh, that's
met a few
good.
of them so far. Yeah.
Are you making friends?
Oh, yeah. Met this one guy. His name's Benjamin. Yeah, he's an
Nice.
artist. Yeah.
Well, you should invite him
Cool.
over to the, housewarming thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
well,
how
are
into
you gonna
board
have
games
people
they are,
over?
but
Yeah, is it gonna be us, or like it's gonna be more people, or
I think we should probably keep it
Not
chill.
too big. Yeah.
Our landlord's a little aggressive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah, I'll invite him. Wow. Yeah. How's
Is
yeah,
he
go
trying
ahead.
out for hockey, or what do you? What's he about?
No. He's in good shape, but no, he's not really like a hockey
It's
type.
about this time that you can see a group of 3 guys and a rather uncomfortable looking woman.
I think it makes a lot of sense because Andy is very perceptive in regards to like people not feeling comfortable. And I think in the middle of Nate talking, doesn't want to interrupt him, but it's like,
Hold on. Something's going on over there. I think we should figure. 1 second.
Oh yes, Chase.
And-
Yeah.
Andy will kind of make his way over there.
They're in like the middle of conversation, but as Nate and Andy walk up, Chase like almost like interrupts you, Laura, and like, oh, shut up, what's that? Nate, how's it going? Who's your friend?
Hey. You don't remember him? I think you remember him the way he stopped your shot in front of everybody. This is my best friend Andy. Andrew Wilson. He's gonna be on the team for sure.
It was
Yeah,
rookie shit,
you
man.
probably remember my pillows more than me.
And Andy points down at his like legs and kind of like looks at the situation and says,
What's going on here?
Oh, this is my friend Lori. We're just we're gonna hang out.
It's Laura.
Laura, right? Yeah. We're gonna like hang out. She's coming to our party later, tomorrow.
Oh, you have a party?
Yeah, we're gonna have a bush party. It's gonna be awesome. All the first
Oh,
years are
nice.
invited. You can invite your girlfriend over there.
Wife. But thanks.
Cool. Yeah, but
Where at?
it's out by Oasis Beach. We're just gonna find like a good place to set up.
I'm not sure I can make it.
Oh, come on, it's gonna be so fun. You're coming, man, right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know that Nate is the most perceptive guy. But he is like, I think his mindset is like, we gotta be enthusiastic here. So he's going to put his arm around Laura just as like a general like sort of thing and be like, yeah, you should come meet some people, it'll be fun. There's gonna be drinking, there's gonna be probably some volleyball running around, somebody's gonna get super drunk and pass out, and then we're gonna draw a penis on their face. It's gonna be great.
I think I
Does-
just look up at it.
do you look
At Nate.
uncomfortable?
I think because of what's happening with the other guys that I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, am I just getting more of these people kind of like,
Yeah, I think Andy realized that, and Andy's like,
Hey, Nate, maybe we let the lady go a little bit. And if she doesn't want to come to the party, that's okay. But
Oh, no
bush
problem. I
parties,
just pick you up and set you aside.
they're,
Just like
they can be fun times, but depends on the company.
Chase kind of like walks up to you, Andy, and sort of like gets a bit bigger, and he says, I think she can make her own choice.
Yeah, I think she can, Chase.
this really isn't a
think-
big deal. Like, we don't have to
I
make
loom
this.
in from the side immediately, like over Chase. Yeah, I think she can. Just staring at Chase.
Y'all lucky. We got a lot of balls.
I'm like
I
cream
run the
master.
team, man. I can make or break you. I have so much sway with the coach. You got lucky with those.
Well, I guess luck's on my side.
Laura, you don't
Perhaps.
want to go to that party anyways. We've actually got a much cooler thing happening tomorrow. Do you want to come and look at my sketchbook?
Yes, I would love to.
It's a girl thing. I just say really loudly to everybody else, and then I start walking away with Laura in tow.
Andy will smile.
I don't really
Looks like
have
she
a
made a
sketchbook,
decision.
but I don't know. Those people seemed really weird.
They just kind of came on a little strong. I just didn't, when you get that feeling in your gut.
Totally. Sorry, I should have approached earlier. I just was like a little nervous. I mean, understandably so, I guess, but that's my husband, and I like point to Andy and his friend Nate. They're actually nice guys.
You're married?
Yeah.
And I like grab your hand to look at your ring. What? How did you, wait, are you like, what?
I mean, we just knew. When it's the right person, you just know. We met in high school. We've been dating for like ever. So, I mean, we're married, but we've been like, it just feels like we've been together forever.
That's so sweet.
Thank
I've
you.
never, and I go to like, in the back of my head, like, don't overshare. I've never had a boyfriend.
Oh, well, I mean, who knows? We're at college, university. Something could happen.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little flustered. I just feel like they're like the first people that have actually like tried to interact with me
Oh,
since
Yeah.
I've been here. So
we haven't really been on campus much, but I'm sure like when classes start, it'll be a bit different. And you don't have to come to this thing that I'm organizing. I just wanted to like get out of there. But you're welcome to if you want. It'll be small. It's just we just rented an apartment. We signed the papers yesterday. And wait, today? What is time? But you're welcome to come if you want to. It's not too far from here.
well, if it's not too weird, it would be kind of nice.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just invite like Nate's got this guy that is across the street from or across the hall from him that seemed really nice. And then it'll just be a few of us. You can like bring drinks and we'll play board games.
Okay. Can I bring anything?
Do you like chips?
I think everybody does, right?
Yeah, so there you go. That's easy.
Okay. All right. No, thank you. And are the other two like kind of trailing behind us at this point?
So as you and Marie are bonding already, tensions are still pretty high with the guys. Chase is basically not backed down, and his two friends have like stood next to him. Nate, right?
Yeah.
Make sure I remember tomorrow, or remember your performance at the tryout and not this guy. All right? Might not even make the team.
I got an idea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Why don't we clear the air a little bit? Think we might be able to get into the able to get out of the rink? You said it was all a fluke. I bet you my boy Andy here could kick your ass again right now on the ice.
I don't need a fucking
don't know.
stick to kick your friend's ass.
Look, I don't
You're
think
gonna need a whole lot more than those two goons behind you.
I don't think anyone needs to be sticking anyone's stick up anyone's ass. I think we're fine, right? Cool. Nate, we're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're cool. Isn't that right, Chase?
Yeah. It's a long time before practice. And he sort of like turns, and if he could give the energy of snapping so that his two friends would follow him, he would.
I thought you meant he was gonna like, and then head off.
But as
When
he
you're
walks
Jack.
off, you hear a grunt as he loudly slams into somebody and walks down away from you. And you see sort of now lying on his ass with brushes and canvas around him is Benjamin Thorne.
Andy will rush over, and Andy's like picking up anything that has fallen and trying to help the guy up, and is like,
Oh man, I'm so sorry. You're a casualty of this argument that we just had. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, bud. It's not my first time. Painters aren't, the most well-liked in high school. Thanks. And sort of like picks up a few of the remaining stuff and sort of like begins to hold it. Hey, Nate.
Hey, wait just a minute, Benjamin. I'm gonna run
you're
after.
Benjamin.
I'm gonna run after because I saw this happen and was like, oh no. And then I realized like, I like Benjamin, and I told Benjamin that we would defend Benjamin, and now my team is being the bullies. So I'm gonna head off, and I'm just gonna run very quickly up next to Chase and just put a hand on Chase's shoulder and say, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna run up and be like, coming through. And I would like to attempt to, if possible, just check and pancake all three of those goons. At the very least, Chase, if not all three. Just like as if I'm just charging through.
oh
just
my
pop, 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 pop.
gosh.
Bowling for assholes.
Bowling?
I'm going to have you roll once again stealth to see if you can come up behind them without them noticing. And they're going to oppose your roll to see if they can spot you before you can make it to them.
All right. Do you want me to roll first or are you rolling first?
You roll. Go ahead.
Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
13 versus 20. So that would be a success on my own. Yeah, see if they can beat a 13.
They have to.
Yeah, they got a 21 out of 40, which means that their success is 19, and yours is 7. So as you sort of bowl towards them, you see Chase like hear you and turn around and just like straight arm pushes his hand into your shoulder. And you feel just a wave of that pain that hasn't fully recovered yet as you are stumbled back. You're not thrown onto your ass, but you like feel it just tensing your nerves in your arm. Look out where you're going, man.
And I'd like to, as he has his hand on my shoulder, I'm like, ugh! I would like to put my hand on his shoulder and squeeze uncomfortably hard, like sort of putting my tension, like inner tension and pain onto his, like channeling it into him as much as I can. Like all the tensions, like ugh! As I seize up, I'm like grabbing him and I'm like, hey, you may be the top dog right now, but that's not going to last real long once we get on the ice. You watch yourself, man. Don't be messing with my friends.
You watch yourself off the ice, man. It sort of like shoves you a bit more. And you like, again, feel that sting in your shoulder.
I'm just gonna back away. Just like give him the intimidating nod. And then just turn and head back towards Benjamin. And then as I'm running up, I'm trying to like collect myself because internally I'm like, ow, ow, ow. Again.
You hear as soon as you get there, Benjamin saying to Andrew, "I'm the Benjamin? What does that mean? The Benjamin?" You've heard of me? Am I that famous already?
I heard you're an artist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
I told him, Sorry. Hey, Benjamin, it's me, Nate. We live across the hall. You may remember from the other day, I helped you move in. I mentioned that you were one of the only people I'd met in my building.
You look awful. Are you okay?
It's just a little
You are
dislocated
sweating
shoulder.
like really hard, man.
Let me
Yeah, really?
look at that.
And can I, like, first aid check out his arm or something?
You don't even have to roll. This is not the first time this has happened to him. It didn't re-trigger the injury. It's just he got pushed hard enough that it's like not comfortable right now, and he should probably elevate his hand and not try to tackle people for a bit.
Yeah, I think Andy realized that.
Dude, you didn't tell me this happened again. You gotta. You need to rest up.
Yeah, it was. I went a little hard. I went a little too hard in tryouts. Came up against this.
You
this
don't even
real
need to
dude.
try out. You got it.
I was. Look, I was trying to, show everybody we came here to mean business. Like you did.
Yeah, barely.
Nah. And I turned to Benjamin. I'm like, yo, Andy here. Andy crushed it. He's goalie. I'm left defense, so I stop people, put him on the ice if I need to. Put
He's
him right
the
on their
true
ass.
athlete. He got here on a scholarship. I'm here for the
Wow.
education.
Look, if I'm the bear, he's the cat. That's all I'm saying. Cat-like reflexes.
Better to be the bear, honestly.
Good hockeying. People are staring at us. Those two have just sort of been standing there looking over at us.
Oh, that's
for a bit.
oh. Would you like to meet my wife? And
Sure.
I don't know the other girl well. I think Laura.
Not
Lori?
Nate's wife.
No.
Oh no, I don't have a wife. I'm kidding. No.
We'll get him
I
one.
was all right. Sure. And he sort of he shuffles past, and again he's got that presence of wise confidence. He seems comfortable in his body, and he gives off that air of being more mature than most of the people that you've met, especially Chase. And he approaches covered in paint that has spilt as he got knocked over, and he makes his way to you with Nate and Andrew.
Yeah, Andy kind of makes his way over to puts his arm around Marie and is introduces them and says,
Marie, this is Nate's friend, Benjamin.
The Benjamin.
Yeah.
The painter.
That's what I said.
The famous one, apparently.
Listen, Benjamin, do you like chips?
Yes. Doesn't everyone like chips?
Exactly. Everyone loves chips.
Well, listen, that's great.
And dip. You gotta have the dip. And you gotta have 5 different flavors of dip. Right?
And this is what you can expect at our housewarming party that is going to be tomorrow night. And you're invited.
Does Laura, I imagine, looks like the outsider, right?
Oh yeah, just standing there watching them all comfortably converse with each other and just kind of where can I jump in, but not finding a spot ever to jump in.
You see him take the moment to sort of he's nodding along and smiling to the three of them and looks over at you, and you see again that sort of perpetual smiling eyes, and as he sort of he frowns a little bit, but more in seeing your how uncomfortable you are, and he says, so we just got invited to a cult then, right?
Yeah, it seems like a nice cult.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I meant Nate. I assume that Nate's the muscle of the cult, so he seems nice, sweet.
I think it's a chip cult.
Oh, what's yours?
I would
Mine's,
join a chip cult.
I'll be ketchup.
All right.
I like
are
salt and
we
vinegar.
all condiments? Is that what's
I'm a
happening?
salsa guy.
Ooh.
I'm
We can make
cheese.
nachos.
I'm cheesy dip.
What are the different ways to prepare chips?
baked, cooked,
I mean,
fried.
Laura and I did flavors, and these two are going extracurricular.
Well, now it's all out. It's happening.
Look,
It's a chip party. It's not even a housewarming
Marie's a
party
writer.
anymore.
She's always going to be a little extra.
It would be rude for us to not go. I'm Laura, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, Andy.
Kind of like shifts everything over. Benjamin Thorne, call me Ben. Call me Bennett. Don't call me Benny. You look more like my mom. I told Nate not to call me Benny because it sounds like something.
I
my
look
mom
like
would
your
say.
mom.
Kind of like looks at Nate more than Nate. For sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't look like an older woman, right?
It's got to be the
No.
kind eyes.
No.
You've got mom eyes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah,
Mhm.
kind eyes are good. Everyone loves kind eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
Laura,
I-
you said, so you don't sound like you're from here. Where are you
I'm from a small town in Washington. It's called Soap Lake. It's kind of
Oh.
known.
Is
or
it
it's lake.
soapy?
I was gonna say for its soap
He has
too.
he has a lot of suds.
It's just when you live there, it's not very fancy. But yeah, it kind of takes on a soapy appearance sometimes. So
Huh.
All
So
right.
You
Like,
play
that's
hockey down there?
Oh, yeah.
no,
does it get cold?
I went to your tryouts, I guess. Saw you get, and I look at Nate. Just get hit. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Nah, he
He's
just rubs some
taken-
ice on it. It's fine.
A million hits. That's just. Some
I've
teams
never
are like
seen
that.
hockey.
It kind of. Look, the people who really want to play and really know what it's about, they don't check each other like that.
Okay.
Yeah. A little pain is good for
90%
the
of the-
soul.
90% of the hockey I've seen, they throw down their gloves and jersey each other and then just start pounding.
Beating the crap
it's
out
a
of
fight-
each other.
Yeah,
think it's
they
a
can be
fight
kinda
club, right?
mad.
Yeah.
Well, people don't
It
know.
gave
how
a
to,
little bit of Fight Club vibes.
Yeah, I mean,
You've read
we do
that
have
book?
fights.
What was going on there before? You looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry if I bothered you by coming over there. I just.
No, I'm
Nate
really
was telling
glad
us
you
a story,
did.
but I could see you, and I didn't really know what was happening.
Well, no, I'm glad you came over. I was actually I don't have a good reason. I just didn't feel comfortable. It just didn't. It's something about it. I don't know. They came over. They seemed nice, and then all of a sudden, I felt very claustrophobic. It's,
Sorry.
Hard to
Okay.
explain, but it's just like sometimes you just get a feeling.
Yeah, I kind of get a feeling around Chase. He seems a little
Yeah, guy's a
like he's
piece of
got
shit.
a power trip type of thing, maybe.
Yeah, I
There's
just
a lot of those
thank you
guys
for
in hockey.
intervening.
I thought we weren't gonna be in high school anymore, but it just felt so high school.
I would agree with that. I'm
But
kind of
more
glad
violent.
we don't have to stay on campus. Sorry, Nate.
Are they like your teammates? Then
Yep. Well, if I make the team, still have to make it
Please.
through tryouts.
He's gonna make the team.
I don't know.
It'll be
how
our
well.
first
We'll see.
chip sacrifice, though, right?
yeah.
To the chip deity.
Yeah. Oh, I'm down with that. He can be our first chip sacrifice.
We'll scoop out their insides with the chips.
Yeah, make them into salsa.
Yeah!
Graphic, but
Oh,
I'm
even
into
better,
it.
even better. He's the chaser. Get it?
Oh!
Yeah.
I was gonna say Chase McDippled.
I don't know how
Too
that works,
far.
but
Too
sure.
far, Nate.
We'll make it
Yeah.
work.
You guys are,
Oh, sorry.
you guys are fun. I gotta head back to my dorm. I've been holding these for a while now, and I'm very painted. Where
Right.
can I meet you? I guess.
Oh, I'll
yeah.
take you. Yeah, just come when you're ready. I'll take you over there.
I mean,
right.
I guess this is happening now. Is this happening now?
I'm
I
all
look
about
at Andy like I
tomorrow.
thought it was tomorrow.
And we can do it now.
I
Well,
mean, we don't have any dirt. We just
Yeah.
moved in,
you
so
just got in. Maybe tomorrow, if you are all cool with that. Tomorrow.
I still need to get chips, so
Oh. Oh, Laura, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Nate, hi. I
Hi.
hand you like an oven mitt hand.
I think I'm just in awe of you. Like, I'm like, you're just, now that it's not a threatening situation, I'm just like, your muscles and everything, probably a little slightly googly eyed, but just like, wow.
Like, hey, I don't know if you've gotten to look around, but some of the guys on the team, they told me where some of the stores are. So if you want, I can take you over there. Like, obviously, we can walk Benjamin back, and I can just show you around a little bit.
That would be really nice. I'm still like learning how to find things, so just getting help with that would be
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
we kind of grew up around here, so whatever
Yeah.
if you need to know where something is, we're your people.
Thank you. You all have been the nicest people I've met so far.
Yeah, it's not saying much, is it?
No, I think it is saying a lot.
I mean, chip sacrifices and all, you sure?
I'm kind of down for that.
Now
don't
we
know.
need to get like melted cheese or something.
I did not think I would join a cult so early. I mean, I thought it would happen, but I'm in. Yeah. Well, it was nice to meet you all. I'm going this way.
All right.
It's
Nice
nice to
meeting
meet
you.
you.
See ya.
Nice to meet you. Wait,
Ha-
who am I saying that? Who am I
I thought
going
you
with?
already knew him. What the
Yeah, I
heck?
knew
Live
everybody.
here.
I'm
You
not
don't
sure.
have to go anywhere.
Like
I was just joining
slap
in,
Nate on the
guys.
shoulder.
I just wanted to be. I
I
just
want to be
yeah.
part of it. And as the four of you sort of stand on the sidewalk and chat and laugh, Nate, you look over and see Benjamin take one last look at the group and sort of like smiles in a new way that he's smiled before. His eyes are wider as he does, and it's more warm. The date is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. You stand outside of Tilly's inn, holding all of the gear that you've brought, Nate. And out of the car in the parking lot near you, the man that you think is Benjamin Thorne steps out. But he looks up at you and almost immediately recognizes you. And when he smiles, it's not the same smile. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh, so good.
It's like a changeling. What is
Oh,
it?
I love it. The first time you said Benjamin, I was already in her head. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Benjamin Thorne. Also, even more creepy. Episode 1 is more creepy now that this episode has happened. Even though this episode was so chill, I'm just like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared. But we hope that you all enjoyed the show. And if you did, there are lots of ways that you can support us. But first and foremost, we would like to thank our sponsor. Thank you, Roll20, for sponsoring today's episode. If you saw how we were doing all the magical rolls and it was showing success and we were doing regular, hard, extreme rolls, it makes it so easy. It's so nice. And of course, you can check out our merch over at designedbyhumans.com/shop/roll4it. Get yourself a mug for some hot cocoa or some pumpkin spice latte, because I'm putting that energy out there. And we would like to thank our supporter today, Jackson DK. Thank you, Jackson, so much for continuing to support us. If you would like to become a supporter like Jackson, you can become legend tier or above on our Patreon, and that gives you access to a privately GM'd game. Currently, Kelly is GMing, so if you enjoyed this magicalness that has happened, you can get more of it on your own. And of course, not only do you get to play in a private GM'd game, you also get access to a whole bunch of cool things over on our Patreon at a varying different tiers. We have character sheets out there if you want to check out our character sheets. There's some little, spoilers in there, but we'll share some more stuff along the way. And of course, you can become a Twitch sub right here on Twitch and get access to some of our emotes and the VODs in advance. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can sub to us kind of for free. Otherwise, that money just goes to Jeff Bezos. And of course, you can become a YouTube member, which gets you access to some of those emotes as well. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch sub, or Patreon subscriber, you get access to a private Discord where I'm certain there's going to be some interesting conversations, people seeing what characters were like in the past and in the future and how different they are. And we understand that not everyone can support us in a monetary way. There's lots of non-monetary ways to support us, like watching us live here on Twitch, making clips. Thank you for all the clips. We appreciate it. And watching us over on YouTube, subscribing, liking, commenting, following us on Twitter and Facebook, liking, sharing, retweeting. Even if you don't have a lot of followers yourself, it doesn't even matter. It's just making the algorithms go whir and letting people hear our story and find us. So thank you so much for that. We really, really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to let you hear where you can find these wonderful people, because not only are they here on Roll4It telling amazing stories and bringing characters to life, but they do lots of other cool stuff on the internet. So first and foremost, I'm going to kick it over to Jeremy Cobb, who plays Nate. Where can people find you at when you are not checking and getting checked?
Hello, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Cobb1. That is Cobb with 2 B's and the number 1. I'm also same handle on Blue Sky, on Instagram at the Cobbmeister. I'm also on the show 3 Black Halflings. It's a podcast, TTRPG podcast about diversity and inclusivity. Check it out. And if you enjoy my performance here and I wonder what that guy would be like if he GM'd, I'm going to be DMing at D3 at Sea this fall. So
cool.
Come check it out. Yeah, come play with me. Come play with us, Danny. Come play with me on a boat. So check out the D3 at Sea fall cruise and sign up to play with me.
That also sounds kind of scary.
Yeah.
Get on a ship together. I don't know if we're all gonna survive. Also, the last time we had a ship on this channel, it sunk. So yeah.
Dark.
Well, hey, make sure your last moments are filled with laughter and fun while playing some D&D
Nice.
with me.
I like that.
On a
I like
boat,
that.
on a cruise ship.
What Margaret is saying is you might die, Jeremy.
I'm worried for your life, Jeremy. Next up, we've got Play Katie Play. Where can people find you at when you are not... I'm just having like a really, really unlucky day. I don't know how else to put it for poor Laura.
We got through it though, and that's what matters. I'm Katie Peters Plays. You can find me on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays, Twitter at Play Katie Play. I'm Katie Peters Plays most places, except the ones that I'm not. But you can find all of that on my Twitter or my Twitch page. I have 2 podcasts. Katie hasn't seen that, and Quantum Drive. And I do tabletop. I've done a lot of Roll4It shows, so if you search my name with Roll4It, you'll find them. But I'm also on another show right now that's in the Alien universe called the Duacma Outlook. So you can catch me on that as well on Fridays. And that's me.
And next up, we've got Shar. Where can people find you at when you are not trying to help a homie out by showing them your sketches?
My fake sketches that do not exist. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, it's just right. It's actually just writing.
just lines of copy. I'm Charlene Bear on all social media. You can find me on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Tabletop Titties live on Twitch, where we are a TTRPG show that's run entirely by people of marginalized genders. So that's titties with double D's. Otherwise, you can also, if you love the horror vibes, find me on my podcast that I host with Kelly, which is Drinking and Screaming. Every week we watch a different horror movie and make a cocktail to match while discussing its mood and themes. But otherwise, I'll be here. Roll for it. It's fun times.
And last but not least, the one, the only, the Mind Right, aka Kelly and Buddy.
Yeah,
Buddy
been
is
standing
the star.
for
They've been screaming
hello.
in the background if you could hear them.
Yeah.
Oh, the little
Been
bow
screaming, Buddy.
tie.
It's just been too scary for the buddy.
Yeah, where can people find you at when you're not befriending us, which is sus, and then also, giving us a big bad that we all hate now?
Yeah, I'm two
Down
sides
with
of
Chase.
the same coin.
Chase is behind it all.
We're making them into a salsa.
Yeah, the chip sacrifice. A very good thing to say in a Cthulhu game.
Yeah. That's not
my name's-
foreshadowing.
My name is Kelly. You can find me at The Mind Right on most socials. I'm not on the bird / capital X one
I
anymore.
was like the
so
X.
don't really go there. I'm on Insta now. I'm on co-host. I'm on Blue Sky. I think I've got a Mastodon. Most of them are The Mind Right. Some of them are Kelly Right. Finding a new home is tough, as we've found with Andy and Marie. As
Yeah.
Shar said, we have a drinking and screaming podcast about horror movies and cocktails. I'm also a storyteller on Tabletop Titties for our Vampire the Masquerade game, which is set in London. They are supernatural investigators called Titties by Night, which Margaret has been on. And Jeremy came on and killed us all with old man vampire vibes.
Oh, you were an old man and I was a little girl.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Total opposites.
Also, I got to shout out Big Trouble in Little Menus that Jeremy ran.
That's
and,
like how
most of us.
Jeremy.
That was a good time. Go check that out on Three Black Halflings because it was amazing. But other than that, I exist. I probably exist in real life.
We like that you exist. If you don't exist, then this has been a very interesting couple hours for us.
When you turn off the screen,
Even
I stop
scarier.
existing.
They are just AI. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if you were just AI?
Whoa.
It's like
Sometimes
glitching.
I mess up. I have the right amount of fingers, right?
It's even more than horrifying.
Oh
than I
my
was
gosh, it's
imagining
so
with a ghost.
creepy sometimes how many fingers they have. Why? Or teeth. Just like
Ugh.
extra teeth. I don't know. Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
We gotta record our after show.
I know.
We gotta get out of here.
I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I do lots of things on the internet. If you want to see those things, you can find them at Margaret Crone. And I also make games and video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation. You can find it at Ashes of Creation in all of the places. And with that, we are going to wrap this up. We are going to go record an after show, as Shara said. So if you want all the deets, you'll have to come tune in for that. Last time, Kelly gave us some very interesting information about all the things. So if you want that information, you gotta pay up. No, I'm just kidding. Check out our Patreon. We'll see you all next week with another episode. Doodles.
Bye.
Bye.
Gotta find the end.